Just we're gonna be live pretty soon. I think we're live now actually for the new YouTube channel,
Oh yeah? What's the new YouTube channel?
The Philosopher. So we're live now.
Oh yeah? Fair enough.
Just we're gonna be live pretty soon. I think we're live now actually for the new.
I hear the echo, so we're probably live.
We are live. We are
I'm gonna
live.
share the live
We
video
are
feed.
live right now. Right now, Shobek, we're live.
Exciting.
Yeah, the new channel, the debut of the new channel, The Philosopher, which hopefully will become as big as Joe Rogan's channel. One can dream. One can
Ah,
dream. American elections, live commentary, and chill. That,
oh
that's
yeah.
that's the title.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really like the name, the philosophy channel, and
Yep.
also there
Yep.
wasn't really any stuff that was good that we put in that channel. So I wanted to create a new one.
Call it the philosopher. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So yeah, I mean this race, the unfortunate thing is this race is tighter um, than most people would have hoped, I guess. Um,
Oh, it's a lot tighter because they're really gonna have to look at this poll business because their polls are just messed up, man. I mean, they're not predicting anything correctly.
yeah,
So
I'll say that's fair.
yeah, it's definitely fair,
So what do
and
you
and,
think is
and they're saying that themselves. The
the
people
pollsters? Yeah,
on the news, not
absolutely.
not the pollsters, but the people on the news, because
Sure.
I've been listening to the news the
Yeah,
whole
both
day.
Fox News and CNN, and MSNBC, and I'm not. I haven't really checked the other channels. Yeah, you're right. So what do you think is the impact to America of having such a close race?
Such a
What does
close
that? What does
race.
that? What does that mean for America and the future of America?
I think it means that well, it certainly means that people are going to stay divided. There's a big division. I mean, looking at the map, it's kind of a really a stark contrast actually. Let me try to let me put it here. Um, yeah, because the in the map, I mean, now it's a little bit less than in 2016, but still you have the West Coast and the East Coast and a little bit
Upper
of the
Midwest.
Midwest and a little bit of the Southwest that vote Democrat, and then you have the rest of the country, the South, Middle America, that votes Republican, and it's a pretty strong contrast. In fact, they call the states that actually flip or might flip battlegrounds because it's not normal for states to vote a different thing. So there's definitely a very strong division in Alaska, Republican, Hawaii, Democrat, and then you go into the states. I'm gonna go here to Texas and Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and El Paso. So the five big cities. Those are the only like little blue squares, and it's like that in every state, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big division, and it's a very stark contrast between those different parts of the country and between like the city and the countryside, or just urban America and the rest, middle America, rural America.
Yeah, I mean, if you pull up a population density map
Yeah,
alongside of it,
population density, you know how they're
here,
going to vote.
population density map. I'd be curious to see what the side by side comparison is.
And then you have, if we go a little bit deeper, educated people are voting Democrat, uneducated people are voting Republican, minorities are mostly voting Democrat. A lot of basically a lot of white people are voting Republican. Not everybody, obviously, but I mean it's there are very stark contrasts, big divisions, and
Yeah,
obviously, and during the Trump. So what I think is kind of going to be interesting because it seems we're seeing that Biden is probably going to win. So if Biden does win, it's going to be interesting to see if people become less radical because people have become more radical in the past 5 years with Trump. I say five, because he was campaigning. So the Trump era really began. I would say probably almost 5 years ago.
sure, sure. I mean, it started with the Tea Party and flowed into Trump
Yeah.
running for
What?
uh,
When did the Tea Party start?
start of the Tea Party. Let's look it up. So, start of the Tea Party was probably it's around 2009. It looks like
2009.
was the start of the Tea Party. I mean, it's like Palin. Yeah, Sarah Palin was a key indicator of the start of the Tea Party. I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that actually, but yeah, just to finish up, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that if things are going to change because now Trump is going to go away to some extent, and it's going to be interesting to see if that alone, if that's going to make a difference, is
It's,
if people are going to become less radical
so
because Trump was very polarizing, right? Because you had the left versus right division, you had the Republicans versus Democrat division, but on top of that, you had Trump came out and he was anti-immigrant, like kind of racist overtones, left in general, but in a very radical, like aggressive way. And this was not really the case before. I mean, there was a left-right division before, but it wasn't quite like that. So that's going to be interesting. I think I don't know. I don't know if if him going away, if that alone is going to make a difference or not.
yeah, have you heard about the like shifting the Overton window? Right.
No.
It's like so. I mean, usually that's. I mean, people kind of talked about Sanders shifting the Overton window or Yang kind of doing that. It's by going so extreme, you shift the whole conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like in the Democratic Party, right? If you go extreme, it starts to make the middle normal more so. And it seems to be going both ways, right? With the Democratic Party is becoming more and more progressive, their policies, whereas for the Republican Party, their policies are becoming more and more. Uh, I don't know if their policies are really changing that much. It seems more like their
It's
who's
almost
winning
like,
the election
yeah,
becomes
their
more and more.
rhetoric has definitely changed.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more focused on supporting white conservative beliefs,
Yeah.
more and more extreme white conservative beliefs, potentially even white fascist beliefs. But
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the things that really set Trump aside from the other candidates is that he was saying things that were pretty shocking and pretty aggressive, right?
yep,
So that was still an important part of his platform.
yeah. So what I would say is the key result of such a divided vote is that when it comes to Congress, right? When it comes to Congress, Biden is effectively not going to be able to do much. He's not going to be able to regard Biden may be president, but effectively he's not going to be able to get much done.
But the Democrats are still gonna have control of the House, right?
Yeah, but control of the Senate. How are you going to pass a bill if you can't get the Senate to say yes to it?
Right. So yeah, I mean they've been talking about that. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work exactly, but
Right, like honestly, for the next 4 years, is basically going to be congressional gridlock, essentially. Um, so the unfortunate reality is such a divided election. Um, one makes basically government basically it's government's going to be ineffective. It seems very unlikely that Senate is actually going to go the Democrats' way. Right now it's 48-48, so maybe it ends at 50-50. Even then, it's not a great situation. 50-50 would be good because then the VP decide has a deciding vote.
Okay.
But it's not going to be great.
And
Uh,
that's and
it's going
that's
to be
another
hard to
thing
pass.
that the Democrats were hoping for a more friendly
Yeah, and
Senate.
something that people don't realize is a simple majority is not good enough actually in American Senate, because of something called the silent filibuster.
Okay, give me a second. Someone's trying to get in. Uh,
Okay.
I think. Invite. Yeah, and I don't know. Um, let me. Yeah, do you have the link on Shobik, just so we can see if there are any commentaries?
What
I'm
link?
gonna the YouTube one.
What do you mean?
Oh, cause we're live, so I was just wondering if anyone was like leaving any comments. Um,
Oh, I haven't been checking the comments actually.
in the chat.
Let me look up the YouTube channel. Because
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
could
on
just
there.
click on it. It's the Philosopher, but you can just click on it on the Zoom. You should be able to see live on YouTube, right?
Oh, you're right. Yes, I can.
Yeah. You're
Use
just gonna have to mute it because if
yeah,
not,
yeah,
we're
I got
gonna
it.
hear the echo.
I mean, we don't have anybody on there right now, but as people
Yeah.
on, maybe
Um, I mean, Carolyn is saying that she was trying to get in, but she wasn't able to.
sure.
But
So, I mean, yeah, the unfortunate reality is not much is going to get done. Government's going to be extremely ineffective
so
for the next
what's
4 years.
what's the filibuster rule in the
Yeah,
Senate?
so something that people don't realize is that really what you need is a supermajority in the U.S. Senate. So, because of the filibuster. So,
Can you sound any louder, Shobek? Because you sound it's hard to hear you.
yeah, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit, a little
A
bit.
little bit.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Um, Let me give me a second.
Sure.
I'll switch over to my headset.
Sure. You know what? I'm. Let me go grab something. 1 second.
Fair enough.
I got some technology here. I'm gonna try it out.
Okay. I don't know if this helps at all, or is it if it's still the same.
It's kind of the same. Just make sure you're not too far away.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Yeah, I can also make
but so you're
test.
saying the filibuster?
Yeah, give
And
me a
what's
sec.
where's your girlfriend today?
Oh,
She's
she's
not over
not
there.
over here.
Do you miss her, Shobek?
I don't really miss people that much as a person. I don't know if that's strange, but
I'm just kidding.
you're setting me up for failure, Bruno.
I was
Jeez.
just, I'm just joking. Just a joke. So
So the silent filibuster.
I'm
What are you setting
having
up
the
here?
I have this adapter thing. I just got it from Amazon, and this is supposed to let me connect more than one USB to the computer because
Yeah, should be able to.
I got a microphone. So
Oh, well done. Well
so
done.
let's see. So the two pieces of technology that I need to try out.
Did you also get a camera with the ring light? That's an important one.
No. First, oh, first I'm gonna try the new. I'm gonna change the camera for a second. So what's the filibuster? Is that a Senate thing?
Yeah, so if we dive into the explanation of what a filibuster is. So in the U.S. Senate, do you know what a
I do
filibuster is?
not. No.
So a filibuster is essentially where if you have a senator, I believe the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington has a filibuster in it. It's basically where a senator sits at the podium and just talks nonstop until they basically can't stop talking.
So they can't wait. They can't
Um,
stop. What do you mean?
like literally, they just go on stage and just talk. So the rule is basically you're supposed to have a loud debate about a whatever topic is up for debate, right? Or whatever policy is up for
Okay.
debate. If you're voting on a bill, there's supposed to be a debate, right? And the rule in the Senate is that when somebody is speaking, you're supposed to, it's something along the lines of you're allowed to let them talk basically to infinity. Um, or what you can do is have a rotation of people. And essentially, to to end a filibuster, you need to have a certain amount of votes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that amount of votes is Section 61. If there's 60 votes, you can't break the filibuster. You have to allow the conversation to
Okay.
continue. You can't end the conversation or the dialogue about the policy until you have 61 votes.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is essentially what's now called a silent filibuster, where people don't even have to go filibuster, right? You don't need, one senator after another senator after another senator talking.
So, but why do they want to do that? Why do they want to just keep talking and not stop?
Because it prevents the vote from occurring on the policy.
And they just keep talking forever
Yeah, that's the idea.
until
So that you
until
can
the
you
end
can
of the day, or
protest the policy till the end of the day, and then you can do it the next day and continue. Actually, so they actually do it overnight, so that you're supposed to rotate um, as a 24/7 thing. Obviously, pretty exhausting, but you can do it. And the problem is that now,
I mean, that's kind of crazy. What do they talk about all that time?
they read from an encyclopedia, they read
Really?
picture books. Yeah, no, absolutely.
That really
They all
happens?
they need. Yeah, yeah. I think you can look up videos of filibuster, right? Um,
That's
there's
insane.
examples of it, right? But yeah, like there's a video of Rand Paul doing a filibuster. There's lots of different filibusters um, that have
Really?
occurred
Is that a
historically.
common thing?
I mean, it's happened enough. It's probably once a year or something like that, maybe more.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I mean, filibusters happen. But the unfortunate thing about that is,
Mm-hmm.
since there is the power to filibuster, it makes it extremely hard to actually pass legislation. Right? If you think about it, to get a 61 vote majority to pass a policy is, especially when it's a house completely divided, and with how extreme politics is becoming nowadays.
Okay.
If you vote for a policy that's important, but it's actually important for the other party, guess what? The moment you vote for it, you're much less likely to get your seat back because you basically um, are a traitor to your party.
Shobek, let me try the other microphone.
Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, nice. Does it sound better?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, nice. Okay, it works. It
Super high
works. I
quality.
have a microphone.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
you just need something to put it on.
I kind of have something here. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but I'll try it. But I mean, the main thing is that this works. So,
I don't think you need to hold it all the way up to your face.
yeah. I mean, it's fine. I think it comes with like a mini tripod.
Did you turn off your other mic?
Yeah. I think it turns off because on Zoom you get to choose your mic.
Yeah, so you switched it over.
So you just switch it.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's better for sure.
It's a lot better.
It's better by probably 25%.
Only 25%.
Yeah, but that's pretty good actually. So 25, 30%.
Does it sound okay?
No, I think it sounds really good.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So so what's the problem with the filibuster that you're saying?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it means there's policy gridlock and no policies actually get passed. The only policies that actually end up getting passed are the ones that get lobbied by corporations who pay money to both parties and then say, "Hey, we need you guys to pass this legislation." But meanwhile, anything beyond that basically is said, "Nah, this is meaningless. Let's not do it."
Okay. Look at
Which
this.
is actually really unfortunate for the American people, right? So
It is unfortunate.
right and so like essentially what's happened in the last 30 years or so is that really like government has become essentially ineffective at doing anything, right, other than pass legislation that supports what lobbyists want that have been paid by corporations. um, and anything outside of that is basically dead.
Yeah, so that's yeah, that's something that we should talk about is uh oh, give me a second. I have to close the door.
Sounds good.
Beth is using the vacuum cleaner.
I can slightly hear it in the back.
So, yeah, I don't know if with Biden, if Biden wins, I mean, there's a chance that actually not a lot of things are going to change. I mean, some things, yeah, they might change a little bit, but maybe we're overestimating the amount of change that we're actually going to get because actually a lot of the government is done is done really by the special interests that really own the government. You know, all the corporations, the lobbies. So, like you're saying, you know, those are actually the things that actually get done. So, is it really going to change with Biden, or is it going to be more just a cosmetic change? And actually, the actual policy, the actual legislation, the stuff that gets done, like you said, you know, maybe it's essentially going to be the same or very similar.
Yeah, so legislatively, I mean, honestly, Trump doesn't get much done either. He's basically done a lot of executive actions, right? But outside of that, from a policy perspective, not much has gone by except for some extreme changes to the budget and then tax cuts, specifically for corporations, et cetera, right? Um,
Yeah, and again, I mean, those are the special interests.
exactly. That's where the lobbyists want. I mean, it's not like Democrats didn't vote for these policies. So
Yeah, I mean,
so so that's basically what ends up happening. Um, and frankly, I mean that's been the history of the United States for quite a bit. The thing that is unfortunate with the Trump presidency is obviously the level to which um, racism and things like that, um, basically blatant disrespect and prejudice towards minority groups, um, is enabled through rhetoric mostly, actually, in this case.
Well, that's for sure, and that's yeah. I mean, that's gonna.
Right, and so, but what's unfortunate is that has been leading to an extremely higher rate of civil unrest, right? And that's where things become really problematic. Is that rhetoric, not necessarily through legislative action, but the feeling of being unheard leads to such extreme levels of social unrest over time, um, and especially with it not being addressed or talked about, um, just makes the problem worse, right? Um, Now, under a Biden administration, uh, some of the underlying factors causing the social unrest would still be there, but the people would still feel more listened to, if anything, right? Um,
Yeah,
what I mean by underlying factors being, it's mostly economic underlying factors, right? Um, it's the fact that, hey, uh, people don't have much money in their pocket. A huge portion of them are living paycheck to paycheck, right? When you live paycheck to paycheck, guess what? People feel enslaved, right? Because people don't have the freedom, flexibility to do stuff other than work and be a corporate slave, right?
right.
Um, and people don't like that. People don't. People want to, live their lives and do fun stuff too, outside of just working one job or maybe two jobs. Um, so that's where things become problematic. Um, if people feel heard, you know, it helps appease the problem to some level, not completely. Now, if you did have a full Democrat Senate, it would change things, right? I think we would actually be passing legislation that would help deal with some of these underlying causes for the civil unrest, right? But the reality is, with it being so perfectly divided, um, that's not going to happen.
I think
Welcome, Carolyn.
Carolyn joined us. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi. Yeah, I got in.
Yeah, your camera is kind of messed up, so we can't really see you. I
I
think you need to adjust
I have my phone lying on my bed, kind of.
Okay. Yeah, so we're talking about American politics, trying to figure out what's going to happen when Biden wins, because it does seem that he's on his way to winning this. What do you think, Carolyn?
Um, all that I've read is, I guess, yeah, kind of similar to what you said. I read an article predicting, um, well, it actually predicted there would be a bigger change if Trump won. Like, the article predicted he would kind of get, I don't know, more whatever. He like more bold during his second term.
Authoritarian.
Well, I mean,
So
that's the other side of the coin
that's
is that
that's really
if
the big
Trump
risk.
wins, maybe he'll be more aggressive in his policies, and he'll have more consolidated power as well.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And the level to which he would be willing to become authoritarian at the end of the 8 years would probably be more likely. Like, we're gonna have a constitutional crisis in the next month and a half to 2 months, I would say.
Yeah, because
Right?
he's not going to accept, and that's another thing. In the short term, yeah, there's going to be a crisis because he's not going to accept
Like,
the transition,
exactly.
the normal transition.
Like, a peaceful transition of power is actually something that's very important to American democracy, but it's also
Right.
something that is set by precedent. There's nothing forcing it from a legislative perspective.
Well, I mean, but you have to give up the power. I mean, you have to let the next guy come in if he gets elected president.
Right. You should.
Well, you should, yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, right? So I wouldn't go as far as saying that there's nothing in the Constitution about that. I mean, that's kind of obvious. But there are other things that are not in the Constitution. Like, I think the fact that if you get enough votes in the electoral college, you become president. I don't think that's exactly in the Constitution, or maybe what's not in the Constitution is that I think technically the electoral college itself in each state could give the vote for the president, in spite of the popular vote in that state. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, the issue becomes that you need to forcefully take that person out of office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the issue becomes that could very quickly lead to some sort of conflict that would not be a very good situation, right?
Well, there is going to be that
Any violent
conflict.
conflict is not great.
Yeah, it's not great, and that's almost certainly going to happen. He's already talking about fraudulent elections, and that was to be expected. But that's probably going to happen. That's something that we should probably get ready for. But hopefully, it won't be a military thing. It will just be fought in courts.
Yeah, it would have to be. What did you say, Carol?
Yeah, so it sounds like the biggest threat at this point is Trump putting up a fight rather than actually winning.
Yeah, like at this point, yes, I would. My prediction is probably up, past 90%, past potentially even 95%. I was saying earlier that Trump's going to win. Trump's going to lose, right?
Hughes,
Yeah.
What are the chances you think Trump
likely.
could put up a successful fight?
What do you mean by a fight?
Like, he's not actually gonna create too much trouble, is he?
For leaving office?
Yeah.
Well,
I think he's going to create trouble for sure. I don't know how much trouble, but
yeah, it seems unlikely that he's going to leave office peacefully. I think he knows there's a high probability of him going to jail if he leaves office.
He's probably gonna what if he leaves office?
There's a high probability of him going to jail if he leaves office.
Okay.
Why do you think that? I mean, you might be right, but why do you think that?
Well, I mean, it's been stated on a few different accounts that, one, there is a lot of very iffy things going on with Trump. I mean, at the base level, he's getting prosecuted in New York for tax fraud issues. Beyond that, there's other things that are clearly problematic outside of that. And once you're no longer the president, you can actually prosecute because if you were the president and you broke laws while you're the president, it's hard to prosecute you for breaking those laws. You can bring those laws to court or bring those charges to court after they leave office, right? When they're no longer president and no longer immune, right? And if the Justice Department sees that there's X, Y, and Z that they can prosecute the president for, and they believe they ought to prosecute the president for, then they can prosecute the president. But yeah, so I think that's what makes it likely that he might end up in jail. Tax fraud is the main reason. That's what sent Al Capone to jail, right? So.
Yeah, the IRS got Al Capone because nobody else could.
Right. But you can go to jail for a long time for a serious tax fraud, which seems to be the case of Trump.
Well, that's what happened to Al Capone.
Right. And,
I believe he died in jail.
Yeah, I believe so. So, Trump probably doesn't want to leave office. Unless I think the main reason he would peacefully leave office would seem to be if he gets some sort of guarantee from Biden saying, hey, if you leave office, we will not prosecute you.
I don't know if there's a precedent for that, but you can. I think the president can pardon the former president. I think that would be possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or Biden.
I don't know if it has ever happened before, but I think that's possible.
Yeah, I believe under the whole Nixon Watergate scandal.
That happened?
I don't know. I'd have to double check. Did Nixon get pardoned?
And I confess that I know that because
actually he was.
He was pardoned.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was pardoned. It was a presidential proclamation. Gerald Ford announced it. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, when he resigned, he got pardoned. So there's that. I mean, there might be some weird scenario where he might resign from office and let Mike Pence become the president, and Mike Pence pardons him.
That could, I guess, that
I
could
think
happen.
that could be a scenario.
Wait, how would Mike Pence become president?
If Donald Trump, I believe, if he resigns from office, the vice president becomes the president.
Oh, I see.
And under that situation, you could probably pull off if the president gives a proclamation, a pardon proclamation. Right?
He could pull off a quick pardon.
Yeah, I think that's his only other way out of it. I just thought of this one, but it seems like a possibility. I mean, obviously, I'm not a legal expert.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a whole lot of precedent for that kind of stuff. But like you said, if that happened to Nixon, and it happened in House of Cards. Have you guys seen that show?
Not really.
House of Cards, of course. Yeah, definitely. Not all of it.
I haven't seen.
I probably watched 2 seasons of it.
Well, those are the best seasons because it gets progressively worse, but the last season doesn't even have what's the guy's name? Kevin Spacey. And I mean, it's very silly to make a season without Kevin Spacey because he's the whole show basically. But because of the Me Too movement, they kill him off screen, but he's the main character. So how can you make the show without the main character? So that season is actually hard to watch. I've tried to watch the first episode of the last season probably 3 times now, and I just can't get through it because it's so boring. But anyways, before that, that show is very good. So in the it's not the last season. I think does that happen in the second season, Shobik? That he pardons the president. I think that happens in the 3rd season. He pardons the president. That. He becomes the new president, and he pardons the former president.
Really? I didn't even know the former president did a crime. So.
Well, he didn't really. It was all kind of like a setup, you know. It was like his.
That's fine.
Yeah, his tactics to become the president.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because
that show is not super realistic either because it's kind of a remake of a British show, and those kinds of things make a lot more sense in the British system than they do in the American system. So, I mean, they do a pretty good job translating it to the American system, but I believe that in the British system, because it's not direct elections in Britain, you know, the person that becomes the prime minister is actually the leader of the party. So you don't vote for the prime minister directly. So it's kind of a different way, the way it works. But still, that's a pretty good show. Allison, what's up?
How's
you
it
look
going?
happier today.
Yeah, you look super happy.
We've recovered a bit. After my doomsday talk yesterday.
Yeah, everybody's a lot more cheerful today.
I know, at least a couple of you yesterday were like, Trump's probably gonna win.
I think it was just we were uncertain. Like the uncertainty is still, I mean, we're not 100% certain, but at least it feels like.
I think we're 90+% certain.
Yeah, and that feels better than what it felt like last night when we.
I'd say 90%.
I called it last night with my bets.
You did. Shobik that was a good prediction. I think I predicted half right. I said that Biden was going to win, but I think I said Biden was going to win by the end of the night, so that I was wrong on that.
See, my confidence was shook when we started looking at the details, like Maine was red and Wisconsin
everything
was also red, and I was like,
Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, Maine is actually part red, which is surprising.
But here's the issue in all of those states was basically, the early vote.
No,
wasn't
but
getting
Maine,
counted.
Maine.
The-
Well, yes, but Maine in particular, they have split voting or split delegates. So actually, it's part Republican.
Yeah, I mean, part of it went Republican, but the majority of it went Democrat, which is
The
what's
majority
important.
of it. It was. I
Yeah.
think it's 3 votes to Biden and 1 vote to Trump.
So yeah, now we're in a good spot. So now actually the bet we should set a new bet.
New bet.
What's the bet this
New
time?
bet.
Again, each time we make one of these videos, we risk getting demonetized.
Well, considering that we're not monetized right now,
I don't know if
it's
we actually
fine.
bet anything.
What do you
You
mean?
know?
What do you mean? I'm not showing. I thought I was getting paid for this.
Yeah, come on, Bruno. Why aren't you paying us?
Well, we
Uh,
need to get a little bit more popular before I start paying.
We're gonna
people.
go on strike, Bruno. Please.
Well,
Uh,
I can only pay people if we actually
we're
make
gonna
money.
form a union, the Philosophers Union.
I'm all for it, but you gotta wait until the channel is actually watched
Maybe
by
that's what
someone.
maybe that's what the channel should be called.
The
That's a fun
Philosophy
name.
Union.
Philosophers Union.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't
Very
know.
socialist.
Yeah, unions are for social.
Are they?
The Marxists.
I thought
Down
the
with the
United
union.
States was a union.
Down with the union.
Yeah,
the
down
Union
with this
versus
union.
Confederates.
The United States, the Union State.
No, I was gonna say
The-
what we should bet on is which state is gonna decide. It's gonna tell us that which projection, I guess, is let's clarify. Which projection of a state will decide this election? Right?
But
So,
by the way,
Georgia.
by the way, guys,
Georgia.
you can click on live on YouTube and you can see the stream on YouTube, because today we're actually streaming to the actual channel instead of my personal channel because it's finally working. And yeah, please subscribe because that way we can start growing the channel.
You should share
Please
this on Facebook.
subscribe and maybe I'll take my shirt off. That's what you really got to say. Come on, work this. Bruno.
Well, this is
Nobody
COVID
wants to
time,
see-
so I don't
nobody
think
wants
you
to
want me
see
to take
Bruno
my
with his
shirt off. I gotta exercise a little bit first, because
Oh, okay.
I don't actually move during the day.
Bruno's really put it on the dad bod.
Yeah, I don't actually move during the day, so it's
I think all
complicated.
of our leg muscles at this point, like what people really don't realize is underneath the pajama pants are just like twig legs that don't know how to walk anymore, right?
Yeah, I
Do we
mean,
go
it's a little bit
anyplace other than the
concerning.
bathroom?
We're gonna be like those people, what's that movie? It's a Pixar movie, like Wall-E.
Oh,
and that,
yeah.
Isn't it Wall-E that
Yeah,
people
it is
become all
Wall-E.
these like they all become these like flaccid creatures that can't walk anymore. So they
Spoiler alert. I haven't seen it. I was thinking you were gonna
You've
say
never
Up,
seen
but I
Wall-E?
think
well,
that's a
that movie
different
came out like 20 years ago. It's
Yeah,
not
I
really.
know.
It's not a spoiler for a movie that came out 20 years ago. But I'm sorry, spoiler alert. So at the end of the movie, people basically live in this big spaceship, and they can't even walk around anymore because they're
That's that's literally like the first scene of the movie.
Is it? I thought it was at the end.
Like it's not in the end. It's like you're probably maybe a quarter way into the movie and or even less, right? Because Wally gets picked up by the spaceship or gets sent to the
The
spaceship.
only thing I know about Wally is like Wally, that voice. That's all I know. But I want to see it because it sounds so cute.
It's
But
a
apparently it
fantastic
also
movie.
has something to do with this
A
conversation.
lot of people love that movie. To be honest with you, I think it's pretty boring, but it has really good ideas. It has really good ideas, like
Yeah.
that one. That one is the best
agree.
one, actually. It's that one that people become so lazy that they can't even walk anymore. They just have to move to places in a wheelchair.
What about the fact that humans trashed Earth?
Exactly. That's the second good idea. The other good idea is that the reason why they live in the spaceship in the first place is because we wrecked the Earth, and the Earth is now it's just
Peter
filled
Pan.
with trash, basically.
Trash planet.
Basically.
It's a big
It's a
dump.
big
You know what?
dump yard.
I think, okay, if you were to, and maybe it's Wally, so I understand if we already went here, but like if you had to compare the current situation of the world in the United States to a Pixar Disney movie, what would be the most accurate representation.
Wall-E. Actually, I
Wall-E.
changed my mind. The movie's boring, but actually has great ideas. So I changed my mind. It's a great movie.
What did you? It's now a great movie.
Because I said I don't like the movie, but it's not true. It's just boring. But honestly,
I would disagree.
but it has good ideas. But
It
those
tells
two
a good
ideas are
story.
pretty. Those two ideas are pretty on point because we are trashing the earth, and
True.
also we are becoming, especially now, we're becoming pretty lazy and fat and
I would
flaccid.
probably pick The Lion King. We are at the point where Scar is in power, right? And the whole landscape is ablaze. And the hyenas have eaten everything.
The hyenas,
And
yeah.
there's just skeletons everywhere.
Is that the Lion King or Terminator, Shogun?
That's The Lion King.
What about the Emperor's New Groove?
Is Trump naked?
Can you explain the analogy?
I think we just have a very silly leader with like some outrageous outfits and hair, right? Is that part of the movie?
Yeah,
Cusco.
That's true.
That's a good one.
But who's like his like little the actual evil character though would be Biden. So I don't think this is a good metaphor because there's like multiple.
It would have to be Michael Pence. Mike Pence is the witch.
There's no one is evil enough though. In this scenario, in this current scenario, as much as I like want to shit on the state of as 2020, I mean, people might think that Trump is just like, that mastermind, but I like don't think I can give him that status of like creative mastermind mining.
He's just good at propaganda. He's accidentally good at propaganda.
Well,
you think, yeah, accidentally.
He's kind of a combination of both the witch and the silly emperor, He's
giving him too much credit.
He's a composite character.
Now I'm just at a point where I'm like, what are Disney movies that people watch? What's a list of
all I can think of was a bunch of princess movies, right? So I mean, outside of the princess.
What about Pixar movies? Disney movies, Pixar movies.
I believe Wall-E is the.
How about Trolls?
Is Trolls
Maybe the current state of America is like Jurassic Park.
Ooh, okay, finish the analogy.
Yeah, you gotta explain.
We're working on killing the dinosaur.
The T-Rex that has escaped?
The T-Rex that's escaped.
That's kind of, yeah, I mean, I can go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at movies. Remember A Bug's Life? Are we the bugs?
That was a long time ago.
Remember the brave little
That's
toaster?
a good one.
I do remember the poster.
Maybe that's where we're at. Maybe we're all just like living the brave little toasters story. Everyone is like at that point where like everything else in the world is just completely chaotic. I think that part of the plot to that movie, I can't remember anything other than like household objects singing in the forest because they have like escaped the inside. But I think like every other force in their life was like some other force that they couldn't control, like some human or some like shopkeeper that didn't care about them. And that it resonates with us, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm completely out of control in my life at this point. I feel like I just sit in the house and toast bread all day.
I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that.
We're getting closer.
I don't relate to that, but I guess I'm the only one who's actually not working from home.
Okay, you broke free. That actually is the plot of The Brave Little Toaster. He actually eventually gets out and goes places.
Showbeck, you broke free. You're the little toaster that broke free. Go Showbeck.
I think that's the end of the movie, right? Spoiler alert.
When we talk about a little toaster, I just think of Rick and Morty and that little thing that's job is to spread butter. and he's like,
I've never seen Rick and Morty. Is it good?
That is a philosophical show in itself, right? Kind
it
of.
is
know.
it is pretty philosophical. But yeah, Bruno, you would enjoy it for sure. And the little spreader is like, is this my purpose? And Rick's like, welcome to the club.
It's good.
Yeah, I
If you
should
haven't
watch
seen
that.
it, I think you would really like it, Bruno. I think most people would like it. You can't talk too much about it because their fan base went toxic like
Yeah,
a couple of
like
years ago,
like
and
they
so to
went
be a
incel
super
toxic.
fan, to be a super fan is
Incels.
not cool.
They're a group of incels. That group. But yeah.
All right, guys, we gotta subscribe to this channel, guys. We gotta grow it
I already
so people
subscribed.
actually watch it.
Is anyone watching?
Watching what?
You had
Well,
one viewer.
we gotta have some subscribers.
You
because
gotta
if not,
post.
YouTube doesn't promote it.
You gotta
Wait, you
post
said we had
this
one
places.
viewer like earlier?
Yeah, before I got on.
That might have been me.
Oh, before we got on, you had two.
We're our own viewers.
Bruno, you gotta post this video on like social media. That's how you get outreach.
I think I did, didn't I? On Facebook. I
You
did. It's
posted
in
it
the
on the chat.
philosophy.
Did you post
Chat.
it
I
on
think
your
people have
Facebook
just
page?
lost interest.
Yeah, the philosophy chat, the new philosophy chat
Post it on your like public Facebook page.
on my
That's probably
wall
the easiest.
as well.
Yeah. Put it on your wall.
Yeah, I already did.
Tell
Except
them that people might be taking their shirts off because then we won't get demonetized if this does get monetized ever because it's just a threat of people taking their clothes off and no one actually has to take their clothes off, but you will get viewers and maybe we'll suck them in that way.
Well,
You know,
let's start by having you guys subscribe because we can have like 5 subscribers, I think, today.
Are you subscribed?
You already did? Okay.
I already did. We're doing our jobs, Bruno. Come on.
All right, that's good.
We got to
That's
get the
good.
other people. Tell them that there might be
Look at that.
something in store for them, like
Force-
Tinder promises. They're just like, oh, maybe something sexy will happen, and then they're just like addicted to it anyway, even though like nothing sexy happens.
Allison's all about the sex appeal.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
clearly.
it's good to have different brains thinking about this. You know, if we're gonna make this like as big as Joe Rogan's, we're gonna need collective power.
I think you just have to lean into the stereotype that you are, and I am like the 30-year-old single lawyer who's drinking wine, and I'm fine with that.
And who talks about getting naked but never does, which is fine.
Bruno.
Again, I think this fits with this whole like archetype right here, right?
Bruno,
It's good.
you should. By the way, on YouTube, you should switch to the gallery mode, gallery view.
The gallery. Why?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I can do that.
Because then
Does it
people
look
can
better?
see everybody. I mean, because otherwise you only see who's talking.
Yeah, I
And
go back and
sometimes-
forth. I don't know which one is better.
When we talk over each other, it's gonna give people seizures.
Yeah, I'll just
It's
be
gonna
like,
That is true. That is true. So
But,
I think
yeah, it's getting
Biden is
exciting.
talking.
Biden's
I think
talking right
Biden
now?
is talking. I think so.
Maybe we should.
Or maybe it's a replay. I'm not sure.
That's probably a replay because MSNBC is not showing him. Actually, sorry, NBC News.
So I don't know if we should be sharing this on this platform, but one of our friends from the philosophy crew has currently been arrested
Ah, has she?
for protesting. Has she? And I think you know who it is.
Yeah, I do. I'm aware.
It's the one
I
that
don't.
we would predict.
Did she get
Oh,
arrested?
I can probably predict. So does it start with the B?
Yeah, we won't disclose anything more in case someone out there happens to stumble upon this.
Okay.
But
Protesting against what?
you know, that's a good question. But it's definitely they're declaring it was on let's see, Franklin, on the Franklin Bridge in Minneapolis, and it was they declared it an unlawful assembly, and they took everybody in police cars and dropped them off at the juvenile center, and the people who are not juveniles potentially may be going to jail. So That's all a big potential in my philosophy.
Are they at
Too
the
many people are
juvenile
going to
center right
jail.
now? It doesn't look like they're at the juvenile center yet.
The what?
Oh boy.
They're live on Facebook. I'm watching the stream right now.
I'm watching.
The stream of what?
Yeah, I am on too right
I'm
now.
watching her stream on Facebook Live right now.
Oh, she's streaming?
Yeah.
I'm watching Unicorn Riot right now just to see.
Is Unicorn right out there right now?
Yeah. Night after election. I mean, I guess tell me here because maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
What is the protest about? I'm watching people dancing in the streets.
I mean, my guess is Trump saying that he won.
Is that them being arrested? Is that what that is?
I mean, it looks like they've been
it's
surrounded by
more-
police. It doesn't look like they've quite been arrested yet, but it looks like they're in the process of being arrested soon.
Okay, hundreds of people are gathered in Minneapolis to march and protest against Trump and to demand a people's mandate to address the triple pandemic of racism, COVID-19, and recession.
Sweet.
And now I'm
what?
watching.
What's the third one?
What?
Recession.
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 Yeah, sorry, I can't
Okay.
talk properly. It's just how I speak. Okay. So I'm watching this.
No, I mean it's sometimes in Zoom, you know. Yeah. Wow, look at that.
Yes,
It looks
cover
like
great promotion.
it looks like Watch Dogs Legion, which is this new game that came out about anarchists.
Well, people, if you can hear the music too, it is a dance party.
Wow, that place is popping.
They're making.
This is what happens when you don't give people the clubs.
This is what happens when you have a crap ton of unemployed people.
This is a great time for protesters because people don't go to work. People are kind of bored at home. They need some social interaction.
What
They've
better
been
way?
drunk since last night.
They need to get drunk. And
Just
they need an
chugging down the
excuse
line.
to hang out with a lot of people in the midst of a pandemic, because usually you can't, because it's dangerous. But apparently, if you're protesting for social justice, it's okay. So
Okay, so maybe this is, I think we can talk about it in this 4-person group, but
considering
protest-
that no one's watching, I think you're really
Yes.
just talking to the three of us right now.
does this whole thing persist though?
What?
Beyond
yeah.
that?
It persists, but unless we are able to generate an actual viewership,
What if this goes viral?
it's very abstract, because it persists, but no one watches it.
We need something pretty extreme to happen for this one to go viral.
I mean, I'm less concerned about this going viral and more like, will someone who's going to future employ me look at it and be like, that girl?
I
And
think
It's
it's
likely
very,
because
I
they
think
need a
it's
way
very
to find it.
unlikely. Maybe if we keep growing, our videos will start to get watched by more people. I'm hoping that's the case, but I think this one in
Yeah.
particular, I
This
think
protest here.
And I think it's important to be authentic too. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sure I know for a fact, plenty of people have tried to be their authentic selves and have been misconstrued over platforms before, but
hi, show experience.
I love it.
Hey, Bruno, where's the
Here,
baby?
I gotta switch over
My
to
baby?
a different. They can't hear you.
Me?
Now they can hear you.
Hey, Bruno.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
this is my dad.
Apparently,
Your
I'm the dad of the house.
I was under the impression that it was the other way around, but
No. Child is the father of man. Didn't you know that, Bruno? You have one of your own now.
I am now learning truths about life finally.
Yeah, he keeps teaching me. I'm
my-
stopped learning.
Mine is
Okay, so where's the little one?
she just makes noises, but she makes
She just
cute
makes-
noises.
Hey, is she up and awake?
No, she's sleeping right now.
Oh, jeez. You got to make
This
her a
is
party
around-
girl. Come on.
she goes to sleep usually around this time, and sometimes she wakes up, sometimes she doesn't. Most times she does, but this is the hope around this time is that she'll sleep until tomorrow.
Well, nice meeting you guys. We got to see you
Nice to
Yeah,
yeah,
see
it's always
you.
nice to see you. This is
sooner rather than
as far
later.
as we
Yeah,
can do, as we can go in the pandemic world, unfortunately.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
when
I just
maybe when the world goes back to normal, we'll all go to Shobik's basement and hang out and now we have this YouTube channel, so
yeah,
this
I
is
just
gonna
finished teaching a class where students were all over the world.
really wow.
It's cool.
It just, I just finished about 3.5 hour session.
So
So
what are the questions?
So now you're
3
an
hours.
international master.
Wow.
It's a long
they're
course.
they're putting up with me anyway.
You're an international master. You mold the brains of and the minds of kids
I
all
don't
around the
know
world.
what to do, yeah. All right, and have fun, and hopefully you're rooting. Are we going to get a new president? How soon?
Well, it seems that way, but you never know.
Well, you have fun.
You never know. I mean, how likely? It's not very likely that Trump will win, but it's possible still.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, because look, if Nevada went to Trump, and it's not a big margin. I mean, Biden's ahead by less than 1%. If Nevada went to Trump, that would mean that Biden would have to win either Georgia, North Carolina, or Pennsylvania, and those are all three difficult states.
Earlier, like I was reading my friend's post earlier today, someone sounded optimistic about Pennsylvania since they still have a lot of mail-in ballots rolling in, I guess.
Shobik is optimistic, I think. Are you, Shobik?
About where? Which one are we talking
Pennsylvania.
about?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so Pennsylvania and Georgia look like they're going to flip back. If you look at the amount of votes that have not been counted, and factor in the fact that most of these are in Democratic counties, on top of that, they're in Democratic cities, and on top of that, they're mail-in ballots, which are more likely to be liberal, and then factor in the fact that most of these counties are at least 70% for Biden. It looks like both Georgia and Pennsylvania are going to flip back to Biden.
I think you're wrong about Georgia, but I was skeptical about Pennsylvania before, but I think you're right.
The margin
I
in
don't
Georgia is down to 30,000.
I don't think Georgia is going to be quite enough.
It's going to be really tight in Georgia, but it should be enough. So last I checked, basically Biden needed 46 was down by 46,000 in Georgia, with 149,000 votes left to be counted, all in very Democratic parties with the exception of one. And he needed to average above 70%. In two of the counties, his percentage up to this point was 72% and 82.9%.
So it's very tight. It's very
And so
tight.
if he got above 71% of those votes as Biden, he was winning Georgia. So
it's very close.
it's very close, but very doable.
Yeah, I guess I mean when you
In
put it
fact,
that way, but it's
right.
very close.
Statistically,
but
it makes more sense
Pennsylvania's
for him to
looking
win
good.
it.
Yeah, but Pennsylvania is looking good.
Well, Pennsylvania is
You
even
look
more
at-
extreme. The amount of votes that have
Yeah.
not been counting in Pennsylvania is so high.
When you look
And
in
there's-
Philadelphia is voting 80% for Biden. 80%. That's very favorable.
Yeah,
to
and if you
Biden.
think about it, like earlier today,
That's
the
more than
delta there
Minneapolis.
was
I think isn't that more than Minneapolis? 80%.
what?
Philadelphia. I think. I mean, I was expecting Philadelphia to be very pro Biden, but I wasn't expecting it to be 80%. 80% Biden. I mean, that's a lot.
I don't think it's 80% Biden right now.
It was before. It was earlier in the day. It was they showed it on TV. It was 80%.
So right now, it's 41.3% to Biden. Oh, sorry, I'm pulled up Missouri.
No, that's not right. No,
incorrect
before they were
data.
showing on TV, and it was about 80% the votes that they did have for Philadelphia, but they only had like 30% of the vote, something like that. The
Yes.
40% is definitely not right.
In the more recent, okay, so here we go. So Pennsylvania at a glance right now. It's 50.8% to 48.1%.
Yeah, no,
48.1% is for Biden.
it's very close. It's very close.
Uh, Biden is down by 200,000 votes right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a little less than that, 170,000. Earlier today, he was down by 600,000 votes.
Yep.
So, that margin has grown tighter and tighter super fast.
It has, man.
So, from that perspective, I think it's pretty in the clear, right? And there's still roughly a million votes or so that need to be counted.
Yeah, I mean, Pencil. I don't know if he's gonna win it, but I think it's looking good. Georgia is looking possible, like you said, but definitely a lot. I mean, it's gonna be tough, that one. But I mean, Nevada is not certain for Biden. I think he'll win it, but it's right now. I'm looking at it: 75% reported, 49.3% Biden, 48.7% Trump. So it's, I mean, that's pretty close.
Do you think that, also though the votes that are still rolling in are mostly Biden?
I think so. That's what they're saying, but you never know.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
I mean, one would expect it to be like that. It's been mostly like that so far, but Nevada could decide the election, so that's I mean, that's a pretty big assumption. But I mean, hopefully. And also, if Pennsylvania really flips to Biden, that would make up for Nevada, and Biden would still be president.
Yeah, I mean, if Georgia flips, it's game over.
Yeah, well, Georgia's the other one. One of those two.
So the bet I was gonna ask about is which state is gonna decide it? Which next projection will decide the race?
Well, Nevada decides it because Biden just needs to hold Nevada. He needs to keep the lead. If
But
he keeps the lead, he's president.
I think so. Nevada's not going to announce the results though until tomorrow morning. So I think something else is going to decide the race
So the other three might come in tonight.
before. Yeah. So I don't think Nevada's going to come in fast enough. It's not going to come in until tomorrow.
Okay.
So personally, I'm leaning towards either Georgia or Pennsylvania deciding it. But it seems like it's most likely it will be Georgia that decides this race.
I don't think it's going to be Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania, they're saying that they're not going to know the results until Friday.
Yeah.
So that's pretty unlikely.
So Georgia
I mean,
might
it's not.
decide it.
I mean, it wouldn't be unlikely if Trump won Nevada and Georgia, and then yeah, we would have to wait for Philadelphia, but sorry, Pennsylvania. Well, both actually. Um, so you're thinking Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, it's not a bad bet. Yeah, Georgia would decide the election if Biden wins.
Yeah.
And if they can get the results by tonight.
No.
Could it happen at any moment now?
Georgia is going to announce most of their stuff in the next hour or two.
So you might be right. I mean, yeah, it depends. If he wins Georgia, yeah. If not, we'll have to wait for Nevada tomorrow. And I mean, North Carolina, what do you think? I mean, it doesn't look likely that Biden is going to take that one.
Oh yeah, there's kind of a pretty wide margin there.
Yeah, Donald Trump 50%, and Biden less than 49%. So that's more than 1% difference, and only 6% reporting. left to go. So 94% reporting so far. So I mean, it's 100,000 votes almost difference. So I mean, it doesn't seem likely that Biden will make up that difference. What do you guys think about the electoral college?
The electoral college.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's a good system or?
Have you seen what's happening in Arizona? Like CNS NBC. There is protest, the Trump people are protesting outside the center where votes are counted.
Really?
Yeah, what, Maricopa County?
Yeah, as long as they don't burn the building, we're good.
Yeah, they actually went into the building.
Try to burn it down.
They did not burn it down, they were like forced out by the sheriffs.
Yeah, interesting. There's apparently the counting in Arizona, the vote counting in Arizona is the center where they're counting the votes. There's a bunch of Trump supporters that are trying to shut down the voting collections.
Yeah. That's insane.
That's what I said.
Man.
As long as they don't burn down the building, they're good. Imagine if somebody pulled a fire alarm. What would they do?
Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing that can ruin a democracy in a way, you know.
If that did happen, I mean, that couldn't actually ruin the race, could it? If someone like really created havoc like that, or like set the building on fire.
If they literally lit the place on fire, that'd be a real problem since all the ballots are paper ballots.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would. What do you even do in that situation? But I mean, it wouldn't ruin it if some of the other states decided the race regardless.
Yeah, I think Arizona might have a revote.
But I was gonna say Arizona. Yeah, exactly. Arizona might have a revote, especially on their own elections. Right. I believe there's a Senate election in Arizona.
What's going on with Arizona exactly? Why might they have a revote?
No, you asked what would happen.
What's there actually? There was some destruction in Arizona.
There wasn't actually destruction.
Votes, maybe they would need to do it again. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens.
Oh yeah, that's true. If there was destruction, I guess they could just do a revote. If it looked like the race could come down to that state.
Yeah.
Plus, if there was a revote, then couldn't people like switch their vote from what it originally was?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Let's worst case scenario, if there was some destruction of ballots and then there was a revote, couldn't people just like switch their votes from what it originally was?
Yeah,
like it seemed like if there was foul play on,
they could change their mind. Technically,
it certainly
seems
not
like
ideal.
if there's or it just seems like if there was foul play on one side, that doesn't really bode well.
Yeah, I mean, a democracy is a fragile thing. And when you have the leader of a country, of a democracy, trying to undermine democracy, I mean, that's on the long run. I mean, that's kind of a problem.
Everyone, sorry. What are we talking about?
The last thing we were talking about destruction of ballots.
Arizona. So in Arizona, there's Trump protesters that are outside the voting place that are creating some havoc. So that's fun, and they force themselves their way in. And I begged the question, what would happen if they either set arson on the building or set off the fire alarm?
This is just a hypothetical.
The fire alarm and fire are hypothetical. The Trump supporters being inside a voting center, a vote counting center, is not hypothetical.
So, okay, so interesting question just came up on the philosophy chat. Actually, I don't know if it's philosophy chat, different chat. But asking about freedom of assembly. And it's interesting. What do you guys know from kind of your layman type knowledge, and maybe, more than layman type knowledge about US laws, about the right of assembly? Like, can you just assemble anywhere? And like, obviously,
Not technically anywhere. I believe
like,
it has to be a public space.
Right. So like, what about a highway?
So I think there's a debate on whether a highway is considered a public space or not.
So like, there should be the right to assemble on. I mean, I guess that's.
Well, I don't think you can assemble on a highway. I think you need a permit for that. I don't think that's legal.
First of all, I mean, you're going to be denied a permit if someone's like, "Excuse me, I think we need to assemble on the highway." They're going to be like, "Get out."
Get out of here. Yeah. I don't think.
What are you fixing the highway? What is this assembly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're the lawyer, Allison. I don't know. I imagine. I mean, that cannot be legal. You can't just go to a highway and assemble, because it's obviously, I mean, a place that, you're going to be interrupting traffic, and it's dangerous, and you need the police to get involved, or some sort of public authority.
Well, I mean, I just want to talk about it from like a logical standpoint. I mean,
well, from a logical standpoint, I mean, obviously, some places you can't just go to a bridge, right, and just set up camp and prevent people from crossing the bridge.
I mean, it's all about what you're doing, right? It's like you said, set up camp.
And
it sounds like you're
a highway is sort of like a bridge.
disturbing the flow of traffic, because you're certainly allowed to stand on a bridge. But then, if you're throwing bricks off of a bridge, or if you're standing in traffic, you're impeding something, right? But
I'm saying, like, if you stand like in the middle of the bridge and nobody can cross the bridge, like a troll,
Traffic. And the idea behind these protests, right? Like this group of assembly, it's not just to assemble, but it's actually to speak in some sense, right? There's a message behind that, because the intent in some sense is that you are disturbing the natural flow of traffic, right? I mean, if they weren't disturbing something, it would be meaningless behind their actions. So they're targeting. I mean, these protesters are choosing something in particular. And one of the theories behind this, because I worked with a couple of people who, like, we worked downtown. They constantly were complaining about the protesters. And I kind of was thinking about this, and I had friends who actually were the ones standing on in the highways protesting. And so I kind of had to think about this a lot, and I wanted to kind of just think through this, I guess, maybe as a group. But I mean, my friends who are the ones out there were like, well, no one's paying attention to these causes, because we have people who work downtown, who live in the suburbs, and the only time they ever interact with anyone who's not their immediate neighbors outside of Lakeville, Minnesota, is when they're, commuting on the way to work, and then they go into their nice fancy office. Maybe they even have an underground parking garage. They go in, they only interact with a small group of people, then they go home, and they never really have to deal with the problems that are kind of facing larger society, whether it's a class problem, whether it's a racism issue. I mean, so kind of bringing that to an attention to the only place that these people who travel from their first place to their second place, in some sense, they're arguing that the road is what has been called the third place, or these public places to kind of get a message across. But at the same time, it's highly inconvenient, and it doesn't, is that message effective? Because in my experience, for the people who are meant to receive that message, it is actually doing kind of the opposite thing. But I kind of wanted to just see what your take was on it.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely maybe in those situations you're always going to have sort of a gray area, right? Because uh, those protests are necessary in a democracy. It's necessary that people have that capacity to intervene in society and make a point. And sometimes they need to do things that are kind of against the law, like the whole Vietnam protest, for example. People protesting perhaps in places that, universities and so on, like there's an element, if you're doing genuine protest and protesting because of things that are happening in society, yeah, maybe it's not completely legal, but that kind of activity is important for social activism, right? So it's different from just breaking the law because you want to make some money doing something that is illegal, or breaking the law because you're a bad person. It's some sort of social dysfunction, not dysfunction, disruption is sometimes what you need in a free society, you know, either in the United States or Europe or anywhere, right? So, like that guy, or in China, that guy that famously stood in front of a tank. I think that guy ended up disappearing after that, but he stood in front of the tank and
What do you mean he got smushed?
he got smushed.
Yeah, like all the other protesters at Tiananmen Square. What are you?
Did he actually get killed in that day?
That's the
But
that's like the point of the picture.
okay, I didn't think he got smushed, but
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. There's a lot of people that got smushed at Tiananmen Square.
but well, so
Anyway,
that was illegal, right? But they were protesting against something that they had a point. They had a point. Obviously, in that case, it's even different because that's an autocracy, not a democracy. I think in a democracy, especially, we want people to talk, to raise their voices. I think part of the problem right now is that people, society is not active enough, is not political enough, and that's why people are so disconnected from politics, and that's why you get people like Trump, you know, because
So
in a
I'm
way, in a very
feeling,
dysfunctional way, he's giving people a voice.
I mean, but I'm seeing that on both the right and the left in some sense. Like we have people who are clearly on the right who feel like politics is this one big game that Biden, aligning himself with, the Bush administration, Romney, like this is the whole archetype of like, hey, like the politics, it's this set game. And that, Trump is someone who's outside of that game. And to them, they're thinking this is, politics are corrupt. It's, this unattainable kind of this wall. This is government. It's this kind of like thing you cannot enter. It's this game that's set up, it's a Democratic Party, blah, blah, blah. And then you have like Trump, who in their mind, and this isn't completely accurate, is someone who's more akin to like a startup company, someone who's a small business owner. And of course, he's not any of these things, but he represents that, the business side of it, where like and them thinking that's a way to break down the structure of government, where like on the left you're seeing a little bit of people saying like what the heck's going on when we have people who are in government held positions, like officers, police officers, who are supposed to be defending the country, but actually there's this like internalized and implicit, bias and racism that's going on with kind of the hiring processes, and maybe people who are in place, and there's clearly in a desperate impact in my mind. But I mean, so let's go out and protest, and that's a way of remedying, kind of like to break down the system. So we're seeing two different approaches at trying to break down what seems to be kind of an impenetrable system, a system that might need change, but they're going about it in two different ways from my perspective.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think that on the right as well, there are some attempts of doing stuff like that, except they have a very different view of the world, right? So, but white supremacy protests and protests against Antifa and all that stuff, they're trying to do the same thing. You have these elements of society that are menacing us, So we're going to go out there with our guns and we're going to show that we're powerful and that we're active and that if the politicians will not work for us, we'll work for ourselves. So they have obviously they're trying to achieve goals that are in some way the opposite of the other ones, but
Hold on. I mean, I would do you think they're opposite? Because I'm seeing an element of truth among all parties. The fact that we had the voter turnout that we did on both sides, that we have never seen in many, many years in this country, to me says that, you know, we're obviously at a polarized time. People want to have a voice, but they're not happy with how things appear to be kind of as the status quo a little bit, and whether that means like
yeah,
politics, like corrupt politics, or that means, you know, groups that are bigoted and things like that. I mean, there seems to be a thread of kind of maybe similarity there. And I hate to be that person who's trying to find something that, you know, or is it a symptom
no, but
of
I agree with you. I agree with you. And the fact that we have such a high turnout, that is kind of, I think there are a couple of reasons there. You know, it's not so much that people want to participate, just that, you know, it's not just that. It's the fact that uh, society in the United States has become very radicalized, and people are perceiving this election almost as people that live in the United States, almost like an existential thing. You know, are we gonna get 4 more years of this situation that we're not comfortable in? You know, from the people that want to vote for Biden and the people that want to vote for Trump, they think that the left is a big menace to their way of life and Trump is their defender, right?
right, that we
They're
will go back to this whole Democratic Party that was chaos, you know, back in Obama. I mean,
yeah.
that's the thinking, that we're holding a citadel around something that we want to preserve, which is, I mean, again, a conservative view. That's the definition of conservative versus a liberal, you know,
Well,
we're
they want to make America great again, and they want their lifestyle to be preserved against. And I think they were scared of Obama, but they're even more scared of Biden because Biden is not coming alone in their mind. You know, you have the AOCs and the Sanders, and you know,
the fact
this
that
is
Biden has
these are
such
the people
a
that I
high,
think they're uncomfortable with, you know, not so much Biden. Biden's just this, you know, old guy who's pretty much like Trump in terms of the way he looks, the way he talks, you know. Obviously, they have different ideas and they're saying different things, but it's not a big contrast. Sanders, he's a big contrast, you know. He's saying, let's dismantle the system. You know, AOC, she looks different. She's a different gender, a different class of politician altogether, you know.
you know, what's interesting.
Those people, Ilhan Omar, you know, she's a very different kind of politician. There's a lot of people that they're uncomfortable with. Not so much Biden, but
But
you
one
know,
of the things I don't like is to like wrap everyone up the kind of the general Trump supporter, because everyone's different voting for Biden. But same with Trump too, pointing to people like Ilhan and Sanders. That's a particular type of person who voted for Trump who's concerned about that type of politician. You have another sector of the Trump voters
but
who
they're
are
very scared of
uh,
Sanders, though. A lot of them are very scared of
sure,
Sanders.
sure. A large chunk of people would never want Sanders to be in power. And most, I mean, who vote for Trump would never want, you know, Sanders to be in power. But in terms of core fears, you have that piece, but you also have the Trump supporters who really believe, and I hate to say it, I've talked to many, many people like this who feel that the current kind of political system, people who say, look at Biden, he's aligned himself. And in some sense, this should be swaying the people who are moderate, which I think it did. Um, when Mitt Romney and the both Bushes said, you know, we're going to look towards Biden as some support. Well, that confirms another type of Trump supporter who believes that the political citadel says politics rule the world and there's only a set group of people who can be politicians, and those are the people who are going to be making decisions about us, and they're corrupt, whether they're on the right or they're on the left. And like, those are the people that, like, honestly, they concern me probably the most because they're a little bit more of the wild card folks, where they're going to be like, I'd rather see someone like a celebrity or someone who's like a small business owner or whatever be in charge. And the fact that I think Trump has been able to encompass so many different things to a large group of people. And I mean, that's the whole reason why we're seeing this 50%. I mean, honestly, it's not one, and that because I think people get really down and they get depressed and they say 50% of the US population are this one type of person. They're bigoted and they're racist and they hate Sanders and they hate Ilhan Omar. And I think there's actually a group of people who just hate the idea of the political sphere being run by what they believe are these kind of corrupt politicians who it's kind of this impenetrable group of people that are born of a certain caliber that, you know,
Well,
and
there,
that's
there,
a problem.
there's a degree of you can continue after this, but I just want to say that there's a degree of disinformation as well, you know, because and this didn't, you know, it wasn't really the case before, but now there's a lot of people that believe that they're actually devil worshippers and, you know, like super corrupt and pedophiles. And I mean, you have a continuum, right? You know, you have people that actually believe that they worship the devil and drink the blood of little kids, you know, that they sexually molest. But then you have like all the other people that, and it's a substantial, you know, group of people that believe a bunch of things that are simply not true. You know, it's disinformation. Like what they believe about Biden, they're saying that Biden is a radical left. I mean, which is completely crazy, you know?
Right,
It's
because
just,
but at the same
it's
time, you
simply
know,
not true. So there's
they're
a
trying
degree
to
of
get people who
disinformation.
they're trying to get people who would have voted for Sanders, right, to vote for Biden. So he needs to align himself with that group. So of course, people on the other side are going to say, okay, he's now totally left, which is, I mean, again, it's there's a lot of chips. There's a lot of like strategy going on here in terms of like getting people to vote, which makes it very difficult to actually know what a platform is. But I mean, also you have this scenario where I don't know, it's hard to know what one individual's hooking on to. I mean, I know people who are like, I can't, you know, I'm not voting for Biden because I think he's a creep. And all honestly, the only things that are sticking in their mind are the videos of him like overly touching women. And then it's like, and then people, same thing on the Trump side. They're like, Trump is a total like sexist guy. Look at all the things he said about women and their pussy. And like, honestly, like you have these people who are making decisions based on like things that they're like, this is gross. I would never vote for this person. What is their issue? The single issue? Okay, so 38% of the polled population said it was the economy. 21% said that it was racism this year, which I actually think is a larger than we've ever seen. But like, no one's saying the little things, right? Those things are not like hitting the reasons for polls, but it is going to be something like the guy creeps me out. The guy is too old the guy, you know, whatever. And people hook onto these things. And that's something that you hear too, where if it's socialized enough or they have friends and family who just, you know, that's all they really have communicated with is this small kind of echo chamber, they're going to vote for somebody who their friends, you know, have been touting and they're going to probably reject somebody that their friends have been saying, look at this video, isn't this disturbing? If they're not educated and that's all they're really going off of, that's what you have when you have a democracy, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing with. Have you seen Social Dilemma, Allison? Have you watched that on
That's
Netflix?
the is
It's the
this
one
a
about
like
social
a
media.
vegan type of or like omnivore's dilemma? Maybe I'm thinking something else actually.
Social
You should
media.
definitely watch that. It's
Well,
a documentary on
It's supposed to be a really
Netflix.
good show from there, yeah.
I
It's
think I'm
really
thinking
good.
omnivore's dilemma, but that's not what you're saying.
But like
Social,
yeah.
everybody should watch Social Dilemma. Actually,
for
no,
sure.
honestly, everybody should watch Social Dilemma because it gives you a lot of information about how social media works. It's basically a documentary, and the people that talk are the people that were behind the creation of social media. You know,
Yep.
Facebook, Twitter, a bunch of those big platforms.
Yeah.
You understand in a way that probably you don't right now before watching the documentary. You understand what goes into it, and part of it is the way it's created and the way it impacts the world. It changes the way people interact, and it changes the way politics work because people have their own set of facts now because they're fed by social media. They're fed, but it's not just Facebook. I mean, it's YouTube as well. Like it's whatever news you see on your phone. You know, people like the information that people are getting are it's tailored to them in a way that they are getting things like information in a way that basically they're reading and they're watching whatever they really want to read or watch, you know. So there's no other
This is
information, you know.
this is
They're
what we were
just
talking about yesterday,
yeah, and
right?
their opinions are
So,
confirmed
right.
by whatever they're given. You know, it's not the truth. You know, people are not being given the truth. You know,
Well,
when
and
they're
that's the
looking
thing, Marco. The
at
truth is it's hard to pin down what exactly the truth is.
right, but now we're not even close. We're not even close. This is
Right.
just like we're not even close. You know,
Like
you're
you can
just being
fall
given
into
something
you can
that you
fall into like honestly like rabbit holes in YouTube of like
yes,
people who tell you like wild conspiracy theories. I bet
exactly.
anyone. Have you fallen into like these long people are like, let me tell you how the crystal
I
my entire
no
future. And
no
you're like,
no
ugh,
no
how
because I don't think I've ever watched one of those videos. But that's
Yeah,
how it works.
I don't get
You
those
watch one of those
suggested to me,
videos and then you
unfortunately.
start getting them, and then you start getting
I
them,
think I
and then you
think
watch a second
they
one, and then
realize.
you know, like,
Yeah,
and it never
yeah,
stops.
yeah, and
even in the
so
algorithm says she's a 30-year-old woman who's drinking wine on a late, Thursday evening and is watching YouTube. You know, we should feed her. How about videos on crystals? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh, crystals. Yeah. And then suddenly I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Well,
maybe
that's how it
aliens
works.
did
That's
live
how it works.
here, and
Yeah,
maybe
that's how it
tried to
works.
get the devil.
Yeah.
no,
And,
I
th-
so it's
that's how people get into these like conspiracy theories that Hillary Clinton and Biden are hanging out together and molesting children. You know,
yeah, the human mind
it's
is so
because of
easily
that system.
manipulated. It's impressive.
It is.
Right, like so
Yeah.
we were discussing it yesterday, right? So I think you guys missed out on some of the discussion where we were talking about basically, I mean, it's just a question of how do people understand reality and how do people understand what is true about reality, as we were talking about just like a few minutes ago. And a lot of people have taken the time to say, okay, well, there are different ways to evaluate what's true about reality, things like the scientific method, etc. And then there's the other epistemological method, which is what feels good, right? And so
Or
whatever
like,
feels good is what matters.
it's interesting. Like I have friends who, and I try to surround myself by around a lot of different people just to like get perspectives. But like I have some people who say, "Oh, I had something that like an image that came to me in a dream," and I'm somebody who like I dream a lot and I remember every detail about my dreams. If I let my dreams run my life, I would be a flippin' weirdo mess. Like, right? But if I remembered a single detail where they're like, "Oh, I dreamt about a leaf." And then I let my like entire waking life be like, you know, I saw a leaf in my dream last night. And so like, I think today's going to be about leaves. Like if I lived my life like that, I would be a crazy person. Like I would, how would but I have friends like that. They're like,
Would you be crazy?
If you watch a YouTube video about crystals, man, you're done for. You know, you're gonna get like videos about crystals every day now.
No, but
for,
like
months.
it's interesting because it does seem like the majority of people are crazy.
I think I'm going to defend the people. I think it's just hard to know what to trust. I think people have trust issues for the right reasons. And I think the things that we learn to trust and truth about reality is reliability. That's why we care about Karl Popper and all these like tests to make sure like things are reliable and they come out the same way. And that's the beauty of reality. It doesn't happen in dreamland, right? Like one moment you can open a door and like you see a person, you shut the door, you open the door, there could be some scary monster. I mean, that is the dream world. That is not reality, but we live in a world which is kind of beautiful where, if you open a door and there's someone standing there, you quickly shut it, you open again, that same person's going to be there. We can trust reality because there are things that happen over and over again, and you have to take some assumptions into account. But in truth, what I think is difficult in today's day and age is that we're getting a lot of information. We're a huge country with so many people in the US, and we're having to make a decision. And this group, I think in particular, Bruno, thanks. I think you recommended, what was it, 21 lessons for the 21st century?
Yeah,
Do you remember
that's a
that?
good book. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the same thing. Like we all believe we're experts, but we're getting these packets of information. We're not seeing the person for who they are. For example, like even our presidents, like Trump and Biden, like we have to see them through a very specific lens. We're not an expert in certain areas, and neither are they. So they're being asked what to do about national fucking security. And first of all, they didn't answer the question in that last debate. Both of them pointed to the fact that they have money in different countries, which was not the answer to what are we going to do about our concerns about security of our like cyber networks. That was not the answer. You know why we didn't get an answer? Because they're not experts. So we're getting this also this lens of like something that is, they're not experts about. We're not even meeting these guys in person. So we're getting this like very shallow lens where like in a tribal society where like we have maybe like 10 people and like it's a philosophy group, right? Like we know each other, we hang out in like a social gathering. We all admit like I don't know this. Let's defer to the expert on this. And hopefully the expert, if they don't know it, is like, I don't fucking know. Like, and then we like, okay, like, but no one's taking votes. So no one's like, oh yeah, who are we gonna elect to like solve the coronavirus? Oh, let's elect one of these old guys. It makes zero sense.
I think a good leader, I think you make a good point. I think a good leader should be someone who delegates very well. You know, you have to have a vision, a global vision, but then you have to delegate. And for example, the coronavirus, what you should do, you should have a committee of people that understand the science, that understand how the virus works, what you need to do to fight the virus, and you need to delegate, right?
So,
Because
Bruno,
they
I'm
have
gonna ask you, you know who you sound like right now?
who?
You sound like Trump. Trump got criticism for this move, and we have to be smart on what we can and cannot criticize people for. But he did say, I'm going to hire the smartest people to do the job. And for some reason, that got a lot of criticism. And I think that's a weird thing to have in our ballywick as human beings. But you should. I agree with you 100%. You can't claim to be the expert, but for some reason in this country, we still believe that a leader should have
Well,
answers.
I think the criticism came for the fact that he then put Pence in charge.
Yeah, that I would not do.
Who
I would
in
not
charge
do.
is like
I mean,
that's totally,
yeah, you can say that, but then putting Pence in charge is like, okay,
or like firing
uh,
everybody that you hire because
it's like,
That
like
would
what-
not be my
right?
first
So,
choice. That would not be
I
my
think
first choice.
that was the problem. I don't think people necessarily have a problem with putting an expert in charge. I don't think that's necessarily something that people think is bad.
well there was a little bit okay I do get like frustrated when I hear a little bit of criticism when people attempt to just delegate and then say this is someone else's like ballywick because I do think I haven't heard that even in politics like even in corporate world where someone's like this person actually knows more here they're like oh it sounds like you're not really a leader. It's like you don't have to be the expert at everything but for some reason
Well, a leader of a country should exactly be someone who delegates because you can't do everything, right? So you need, I think the most effective leaders are the ones that, yeah, you have a vision, right? So you understand the main thing that you need to do. Like it's important, like for leadership, really is about having a vision. Well, when we're talking about a country, anyways, you have a vision, but then you also delegate the things that need to be done to the people that know how to do them, you know?
I mean, ultimately, a leader is two things. It's one, they're an extremely effective problem solver, and then two, they're able to find and organize other extremely effective problem solvers. That's what a good leader is, from my
okay
perspective.
so it's interesting that you say problem solver. So like a problem solver they need to have some analytical mind.
Yeah.
But, okay here's an interesting question because I think in general I'm a good problem solver and I'm not gonna like be like the best but like I'm a decent problem solver but I think I have
I know you're a good problem solver.
but
think
I actually think I have a weakness. I don't think I'd be a good leader. And the one thing that I think people put a lot of emphasis on in this country in particular is someone who has the ability to inspire, the ability to empathize and lead by like something more than just the ability to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
That's
think
what people,
about that?
but that's what people believe is a good leader. That's not necessarily a good leader. I mean,
Wait,
like,
hold on,
yes,
hold on. Are you saying that someone who doesn't
inspiring. inspiring is important. I would agree.
Like, I don't think I'm at a point right now in my career where I do not feel like I would be an adequate CEO at this point. Not to say that like I won't be in the future, but I think it's a skill that I lack because I think a good CEO inspires the people below them to want to achieve more.
That to me is if you're solving epic problems.
You don't think the country's dealing with ethic problems?
No, I'm just saying if when people are truly trying to solve epic problems, like when they're truly trying to do it and they are effectively doing it, to me that's usually inspirational by default.
Yeah, I think that we put a
Right.
lot of weight on charisma and big speeches, and those things have some importance, but results also have quite a bit of importance, in leadership.
Okay, so here's a question. Results. We have different, I mean, if you ask someone what president did the best job, with our economy, you'll probably get answers that people will refer to the deficit in one area, they'll refer to jobs in another area. Results are a little bit, not to say like subjective completely, because obviously you're able to show some statistics, but what we rely on in terms of results, and this is obviously an area where people get tied up on, is can we find results in a way that are truly objective?
No, I mean it's not possible to find results that are truly objective, but you can measure results to some extent. I mean, I wasn't alive back then, and I mean neither were you or any of us here. But Franklin Roosevelt, if you look at the history, right? Franklin Roosevelt. I mean, the guy was. I'm not saying that he wasn't charismatic. I think he was, charismatic. But I mean, he was in a wheelchair. He wasn't a very healthy guy, and I mean, yeah, I'm sure he was charismatic to some extent, but I mean, people think about him today as the probably the best president ever, one of the best. But I personally, I would say if you look at his record, he's probably the best, but definitely in the top three. He's always put in the top three. I
I think
mean,
Lincoln is
look,
probably up there.
yeah, I mean, I would say the best, but definitely in the top three. Look, the guy won the a world war, not by himself, but he was a part of it, a big part of it. He solved the Great Depression. He created a bunch of protections for people that made their lives better, which was then dismantled by starting with Reagan, and after that progressively. Um, and among other things.
Okay, question.
And he during his stewardship, the United States became the biggest power in the world. I mean, those are like that's an extreme example because
Wait. Say the last one more time.
what during his presidency, the United States became the biggest power in the world.
The biggest power in the world. He did that in 4
Yeah.
years. He did
He
that
did
in
it.
No,
He did it
he was
16,
president
I
for
believe.
16.
12 or 13 years.
Okay. Here's
He
the
was
thing.
he was the longest he had the longest term, I guess, or
Here's the
he had
thing.
the most terms.
If Biden gets in tonight, he'll have, 4 years. Trump had 4 years, right?
Mhm.
Potentially, 8 years. Right now we have term limits, and like thank God in an era where we don't trust someone. But
Yeah.
like when we evaluate a president, right, we're talking about wins or results that have happened over a good chunk of time. And to say that a
Yeah.
president could really do that much in 4 years or even 8 years
Yeah.
or create a world, and it's not just the president who does this because the president honestly has like limited power, right? They have executive orders that they have,
Yeah.
and they're obviously a face of the country, and
I mean,
they have.
Roosevelt was exceptional. It's very hard for a president to do that, and also he had three terms. He had four,
Well,
but he
he did,
died.
right? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
we
died
all
in the.
want to have that? Wouldn't we like to say that Trump solved the coronavirus? Like, not, I wouldn't
Yeah,
personally want that, but
The
like,
only reason Trump's going to lose is because of coronavirus.
you
that's
think so?
true. That's also true. He would have won.
Yeah,
Looking
I
at
mean,
the
with how
results,
close the
I mean,
margin
there's
is,
no doubt
it seems
about it.
like the
There's no
only
doubt
reason
about
he's
it.
losing is because of coronavirus.
Yeah, and look, that's an example of something that he fumbled. he hasn't done a good job with the coronavirus. Very few people think that he actually has done a good job, even his supporters.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah, I think it's
sometimes you
ultimately
need, sometimes actually, in order to be a great leader or to be seen as a great leader, you need to have also some challenges, some problems to solve, right? Because if you don't have any
if you're
problems, you're kind of stale, you know.
yeah, I mean it's all about, to me it is all about problem solving, like and organizing problem solvers, right? If you want to effectively organize people to problem solve, guess what? You're going to have to inspire them. They have to be excited to be really good at solving problems and be able to organize them to solve problems, right? Um, and that's just the reality.
So like, do you need to be the face of the country to do that? Like, can't you have other people to solve your problems? You have to have good intuition.
You just talked about what makes an effective leader, period. I think in general that's the key to being effective leadership. Unless we're talking about like being a celebrity, but that seems kind of different. I don't think celebrities are necessarily leaders, or
No,
they're
celebrities
not
are not.
they're not good leaders.
Problem
Well,
solving is
I wouldn't say they're leaders at all. I mean, we're talking about something different.
What'd
We're
you say,
talking about
Allison?
celebrities.
I think problem solving is like a piece to it, right? But I do think that like the difference between a team lead and the ability to problem solve and delegate is one thing, but to be like the leader of all teams, like the leader of many teams, like the leader of an organization, a leader of a country, you
Right.
need to have something like it's like problem solving plus, like problem
Yeah,
solving
and
plus the ability
and
to inspire, the ability to speak in a way that gives people, yeah, I don't know, like a relatability factor. And some people
I'm not disagreeing with that. To me, that's intertwined with being able to effectively organize problem solvers.
come on, you
well,
can
you
just like
you have to understand that number one, two things. Number one, Shobek is an engineer, so he thinks with an engineering mind.
Which is problem
Number
solving.
two,
I'm a
exactly.
problem solver by
There's
nature.
nothing wrong with that. Hey, I think that's a
No,
good
I know it's
quality to
fair.
have in
It's fair.
life. But that's, you know, that's his mindset. You and me. I mean, we're a completely different, you know, type of creature. And
Yeah, sure.
But Bruno and I are different leaders by a long shot, I think.
and number two, Shobek's ideal of the perfect man is Elon Musk. You know, so
That's true.
that
Hey,
that also
recently
plays a
how are
part
they
into
showing
it.
that Arizona Bloomberg both Arizona
Here's
Uh,
like
Biden can
making
lose,
it
but
for
they are
wine.
saying it's very close.
some wine is good.
What's going to happen?
What happened? What did I miss? My mom busted in.
Well, I was just saying that you're an engineer, number one. Number two, Elon Musk is your perfect human.
Uh-huh.
So you see Elon Musk as the ideal man or the ideal leader. So I was
Apparently
just
you're
putting
scared of
things I was just
what did what did what did
contextualizing
Carolyn
things.
and Allison just say to that?
Allison needs more wine, so Allison's
Ah,
gonna go get some more wine, which I fully support. I'm gonna get a little more coffee because I don't have any wine or beer, so I just go with coffee.
Okay, should we take a drink break?
I'm gonna go get water
Well,
then.
not a break. I'm gonna get some coffee and I'm gonna bring it here, but
Yeah,
it's like it
it's a
makes me feel
drink
like
break.
we're at a
It is
coffee
a
shop.
drink break.
I'm
It's
gonna
like
go take a
get
tea break.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Well, you started something, Allison, because I'm gonna go get more coffee and I'll bring it here.
You just
But
have like a bag of wine sitting around, Allison.
No, okay, so fun fact. This is actually not wine. So what it is, it's a little bit of vodka, and then have you ever heard of like tart cherry juice?
Yeah.
It's like
So basically,
no,
you're
but I
making a
understand the
cranberry
concept.
vodka, but with cherry.
you know, tart cherry juice is supposed to be good for inflammation and has a little bit of kombucha and a little bit of lemon. So like I am that person.
I'm sure the vodka helps with inflammation as well.
It's
It
potato.
helps with other things as well. I'm gonna get a little bit of coffee. I'll be back in about 1 minute. My prediction, 1 minute.
Oh my god,
Okay,
I
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
am
go
a
get tea.
stereotype, and I'm okay with it.
No, you're right. No, you have to be a visionary. You're correct there. You have to get
Now that everyone's left.
you have to make people excited. That's
I
the
think
only time I'm going to tell you you're right, Allison. Please.
The thing is, how do you do that? So I was talking to
What?
someone recently and about like something that they were working on. and I was interested in it. And they said, "You're really interested in clearly my business proposal," because I was like actually sincerely interested about their business. And they're like, "But you're not passionate. I can
Yeah.
tell you're not passionate about
Mhm.
like the same thing that I am."
Sure.
I was like, "That's true." But some people are really good at feigning passion, and some people are just really like they're empaths. They're able to, really get into something and show with their body that like I'm very interested in it. But I think I lack that kind of like if I'm not interested, like I'm too
Are
blunt.
you saying I'm good at that?
I
Is
think
that
you're
what
better
you're
than
saying?
me. You're definitely yeah,
No, how do I do it? Maybe I'm just more genuine than you, Allison.
you're what?
Just more genuine.
You think I'm a well
No, no. I
genuine?
don't. I actually don't know. Let me think about it a little bit.
Are you saying because Carolyn's not here, but would you say Carolyn's not genuine? I think the truth is we're all pretty genuine. I think we just like we're just a certain way.
Um, yeah, people are definitely different ways, and
Like I'm definitely afraid to open up and be vulnerable
I
in
think,
ways, but like
yeah, I
I
think it's the don't give. Like, yeah, it's. I think you're holding back probably,
oh
and yeah, that's probably it. It is probably something to do with just like holding back and like you're being willing to put your ideas out there. Maybe it's that, right? Like if you ask a bunch of questions, it's cool, but then you're like, but what if this or what if that, right? And that's what I do. Is I usually take the idea and then start doing what ifs, like left and right.
I think it's because I like to process things. Like people are like, Allison, what's your opinion here? And I'm like, I'm still processing.
Yeah,
And so
and
I'm
I
taking
just
information
kind of,
gathering,
yeah,
and then
I
I'm
just
like,
kind of jump in. I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what's right, but I will throw my idea out there.
yes. Okay, you're definitely on the Myers-Briggs. You're a J on the Myers-Briggs.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're a
I'm an
P?
ENTP.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You strike me as like the most ENTJ person I know. Like most likely to be a
Judgmental?
CEO, you're like you popped in my mind.
Do you think you need Jay to be a CEO?
You don't, but I think the most popular or like among CEOs, that happens to be the most popular metrics. Obviously, that's
Judging? But like judging is like jumping to conclusions.
no judging is actually there's two different ways, and I think these are misnomers. Perceiving is someone who lets life take them in, and then they make decisions based on information, which everybody's a little bit of both. But people who are J's take life by the horns. They usually have a plan even before they have all the information. So someone who's like super like J won't have any information. They'll judge. They'll immediately start having a schedule. They'll have a plan. They won't care what reality brings them. They have a plan. People who are really, really P are like super indecisive. They don't really know. They need to wait till they get all of the information. They don't know. I'm definitely more of a P, but I lean more J because I have to for my job. Like I have to make a decision. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be a good leader if I can't tell my team how to like do what they need to do.
Yeah, so like I don't perfect like my leadership style is that I don't try to perfectly plan things out. Um because I try to do revolutionary stuff. And when you try to do revolutionary stuff, like you need to like have a concept of the large, like what's the high level like goal. But when you're doing diving into the nitty gritty details of implementation, and the steps that will get you to the goal, you have to, at least in my perspective, um, be okay with failure and learn along the way as fast as possible.
Yeah,
And what happens, at least in the industrial engineering world, a lot is that I can plan things out and keep planning things out, but it's not going to help me. The best way to do stuff is I come up with a quick concept that I can apply really quickly, and then learn from it as fast as possible, and then check and adjust it along the way, right? As quickly as possible. And that's, to me, that's been the fastest path to getting to, like, I know what the high level goal is, but having all the nitty gritty details is to me a little difficult because I don't know enough. I don't have enough information to plan out all the nitty gritty details because I'm in unknown territory,
Right.
right? So, whereas, yes, you're right. There's a lot of CEOs that are like that, but I would say they're at corporations that have existed for 20, 30 years.
So you're like a startup guy.
Right. I'd say that's the difference, right?
Oh, because punk rock corporation. No,
Yeah, it challenges the status quo.
punk rock corporate.
Would you ever move out to Palo Alto? Was that your scene? Would you ever go
I
there?
think Austin's the new scene,
Mhm.
but yes,
What do you
Austin.
think, like for startups?
I visited Palo Alto. It's very sweet, but Austin's becoming the new scene.
For startups.
Yeah. Basically, like most of Silicon Valley is basically moving to Silicon Hills and Austin
Damn, dude.
because it's
Joe
cheaper
Rogan.
to live there,
Joe Rogan just
You
moved to
don't have
Austin.
the ocean near you.
huh? No
You don't
ocean.
have the ocean near you.
I don't need an ocean near me. Why would I need an ocean?
You kidding me? Where can you just lay out?
I prefer lakes.
Such a Minnesotan.
You know, lakes are great for e-foiling.
Do they have lakes in Texas? Texas.
Yeah, they do.
I
They
ju-
turned the Colorado River into a lake, so it's a
I just
series of
realized
lakes.
the other day that the LA Lakers used to be in Minneapolis, and that's why they're called Lakers.
Yep. Any purple and yellow team started in Minneapolis.
I know. They always take the good stuff from us.
Exactly. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate because the Lakers are the best basketball team in the world, in the country, but also in the world, and that really should be in Minneapolis.
You can't go surfing in a lake. Sorry.
But have you tried e-foil?
He does
Oh
nerd
my
surfing.
God, I
He
forgot
does
about
nerd
that.
surfing. That works.
Yeah, you gotta try e-foiling.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so you moved to Austin so you can do that all the time?
Yeah, I literally just go to Lake Carrie and I just drop them in and go.
No, you can't do that during the winter.
Yeah, not during the winter unless you. Yeah,
But
but
I
you can
mean,
probably go up to Superior and do it.
Dude, next summer I want to do it with you.
Yeah, dude. I keep telling you that you can do it. Let's just do
Well,
it.
this-
I've got
this-
two
Good
e-foils
job.
for that for a reason.
Be like,
Yeah, but this summer you were busy. You were busy. You know, he was
What'd
busy
you say,
dating.
Allison?
E-foiling dating.
how does your job keep you? You should be like, pay me more.
What, my job?
Yeah,
I should tell them to pay me more?
yeah,
That's
you're
what Tesla stock's for.
Hmm. Stocks, they'll get you. They'll tie you in. Mm.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing with corporations. It's like, to me, it's like, if I have money, I just want to do what I want to do, you know? Let me do what I want to do, and I'll be happy. I'll figure out how to make money otherwise. What were you asking?
What was I asking?
Yeah, it sounded like you asked a question.
I was curious what you wanted to do. I don't know now. This is an interesting question. We're like in a weird time in society. And so I'm asking people like, this is your time to figure out like, what do you want to do?
To me, it's how do you automate end-to-end supply chain operations decisions?
Was that the answer you're waiting for?
Kinda. I think that's an interesting thing. I'm totally down for I'm curious how you do that.
I think Allison, this is one of those things that you're not very passionate about, but you're asking questions about.
This is the thing where I don't come off authentic.
I'm just giving you crap.
No, I think I don't come off authentic, but automation of like supply chains. I'm a lawyer right now. I work in-house, and lawyers have a bad rap. I work with a lot of lawyers on our customer side and on the vendor side, and they all are slow. They're slow as hell. And like things that should be really easy take forever. And so like for me to automate my process, like, oh, let's just like put it in a fucking link. Like I don't want to negotiate this. And then I'm like mad at my internal people. I'm like, you guys realize I'm negotiating this flipping agreement that you guys could have just like hidden like a little order form that like no one was gonna like make a big deal about, but instead you said like a Word document to an attorney, and that's what I'm doing right now. Like
hmm
I'm all about like efficiency. It would be great if we could automate a lot of
It's
things.
just like, to me, it's like, how do you use technology that exists in this day and age to revolutionize the field of study that you enjoy? To me, I love supply chains and operations, like at a high level. I don't like going into like designing the product. I'm not that guy. I'll design a different type of product, which is the like, how does this whole machine produce goods and services on a mass scale, right? To me, that's what's crazy and awesome. Like, how do, like, if we were looking at, like, with medical devices, like, how do you set up the whole supply chain to feed components from one part of the world to the next part of the world where the next level assembly is made, and those assemblies then need to transfer over to a final assembly location. But there's like a bazillion different subcomponents.
Guess what? And there's contracts in between each of those.
Yes.
There's liability is being shifted between each one of those parties.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, it's interesting because, like, the contracts are probably the hardest part to automate in that whole structure. But a lot of the decisions could be so much better made. But there's actually poor decisions that could be better optimized using game theory.
What do you mean?
Right.
All right, just real quick. I don't think we're gonna get the results tonight. So maybe
You don't think
tonight,
so?
tomorrow we're gonna do part 3
Oh,
because
man.
this is looking very, very slow. And I'm loving the conversation. I mean, I think this conversation
No,
is
you're
much better.
not, Bruno. Like, no, you're not. Here, Shobik and I are like starting up our own little.
No, not this one. This one is super boring. This one is super boring. I'm super bored. But I meant like the overall conversation has been a fantastic conversation. Right now, you guys are just talking about like, man, whatever you're talking about. But overall,
Let's take this offline because I'm actually
That's
really
fair.
interested in this. And as much as
That's
I
fair.
see,
no,
like, I'm
it's
listening
fine,
to it,
Allison. Honestly, no one's watching right now, so I think
It's okay.
when we
Oh.
become famous online, which will be like soon, people will watch this video maybe. So, but
No,
we
but
gotta
You don't think we're
Bruno,
gonna
are
find
you
out
going
anything
to say
soon?
that you
we gotta get some subscribers for this thing. So people,
Okay, well, we need to talk about something interesting, is what I think I'm hearing.
but it's fine. It's fine.
No.
But
Shobik,
anyways,
you and I are going to talk
tomorrow-
about this because clearly we're going to start the next competitive business. We're going to move to Austin. Just kidding. And then the rest of this crew, we're going to have to talk about something more interesting. So, like, Bruno, lead the way.
No, it's cool. You can talk about it. I just wanted to introduce the fact that we can do chapter 3 tomorrow, and
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow maybe we'll do. I mean, maybe we'll know the results tomorrow.
I don't think it seems like tomorrow mornings it's gonna be game over.
I don't think we're gonna get it tonight.
Georgia's
It's
taking
not
a
really
bit.
moving.
When
It's not moving.
I said it was going to be Georgia.
I think
Play it back.
when will Georgia release more results? Here, I'm gonna Google it.
Well,
So-
it's stuck. It's the same thing. Essentially, we started this. I don't know how long ago. It's essentially the same thing.
They said they would announce stuff in 12:30 Georgia time. So what is 12:30 Georgia time? 12:30 Georgia
It's
time
11:30.
is 11:30 a.m. So that's when the results will come out for Georgia.
Okay, so do you think one of those states is gonna flip?
Georgia.
I don't think Georgia's gonna flip.
My mom voted blue in Georgia.
Oh,
Yay!
nice.
Your mom lives in Georgia,
So does my dad, and my dad's like on the fence all the time.
so they live in Georgia.
They now live in Minnesota, but they voted when they lived in Georgia. They just
Oh.
moved.
Nice. They were
Is
strategic about their vote placement.
They were.
It's like,
Okay,
does it really
how
matter
does
in
that-
Minnesota?
So do they have to be living in Georgia at the time of election day?
So they technically, I think they sold their clothes. That's a good question.
So an interesting rule I've heard is if you cast an absentee ballot, it's invalidated if you die before election day.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're not dead. They still have their house in Georgia. I don't know if the close date takes into account.
Your
Wait,
parents
they
seem to
forced
really
you-
like to optimize their house selling times.
But they've
What was
like
that?
they're living here, but they're selling their house.
Are they living in a house here?
They're living in the house that I was living in actually.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And I live like 2 miles away down the street, and I'm now wanting to sell this place. So if you know anyone who's looking for a place,
Did you buy a condo?
no, I'm looking to lease this out till May.
But you bought this place. Is this place a house or is this place a condo?
1 bedroom. Were you not on the chat? Did you not read this?
No, I don't pay attention to the chat, unfortunately.
You might want to live here.
Yeah.
Do I?
No,
Try to convince me? I don't think so. I think I'm good living for free for now.
I know your parents are like, hi. They're like so nice.
Great. It's fantastic. Free food
I know.
all the time. Save money. Invest in Tesla.
Dude, you have lots
stocks
of
go
money.
up
Go
and-
You have
go
like
live
really
in
good
the-
relationships. Your parents are so sweet. You have like such a good relationship. It's very cute.
They come say hi to everybody.
I know.
Yeah, that's very nice of them. Actually.
Bruno. So Bruno, where are we at? What's the game plan?
I don't know.
So we feel like, Georgia's results. It's not going to come until probably in an hour.
Yeah.
And
So do you
unfortunately-
think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think one of the states is gonna flip, or do we just not really know?
So Nevada's not going to announce their next results until 9 a.m.
I mean,
Pennsylvania
game plan
doesn't
is-
know.
Game
know
plan
how-
is to do
yeah.
part 3 tomorrow. Game plan is to do part 3 tomorrow.
That's
but
fair.
Keep going. Keep going.
So basically, yeah, the summary is that Nevada isn't going to do anything until 9 a.m. tomorrow. That's when they said they would announce next results. Georgia said they would announce results at 12:30 their time, which is 11:30 our time. North Carolina, I don't know, but I don't care because I don't think Joe Biden has much of a chance of doing anything in North Carolina. Even though it's undecided right now, it looks pretty likely that it's just going to go Trump.
Yeah.
And then Pennsylvania, they don't know what the hell they're doing. This is the first time they've really done mail-in ballots, and apparently it's a complete shit show. So
Oh
Pennsylvania
yeah.
is not going to.
Why
What was
are
that?
these 4 states in particular taking a long time?
I just was. Well, Nevada does this. Well, so most of these places have rules about when you can start counting mail-in voting, and all of them generally have mail-in voting can only start being counted after the regular results have been counted.
Yeah, I mean, they were expecting these places where they're taking a long time. They're actually expecting to take a long time. Another question is, why do they have such a stupid process? I mean, I don't know.
Each
Maybe
state
they'll
runs it
change-
separately.
Yeah, maybe they'll change the process to have it more optimized, like in other states.
Each state,
Yeah, I
each
wonder
state
why-
has their own voting process.
Yeah, because every state has their own process, but obviously there are some states that obviously have much better processes than others.
Yeah, I wonder why they don't all just start counting mail-ins early.
I want to make sure they have everyone.
No, so it's interesting because basically the Republicans prevented trying to start counting those votes earlier.
Hmm.
Why? That's always an interesting question. It sounded like they wanted to actually end the election early. So
Well, Trump is trying to stop counting votes altogether, which is a crazy thing to do in a democracy.
yeah,
But it's not
So-
surprising.
yeah, he wants to win, and what's the best way to win? Stop the counts when you're going to win. So I think we won't. I mean, if anything, Georgia will decide it tonight. My prediction would be Georgia decides it tonight, or by tomorrow morning. Georgia should definitely have it decided. Meanwhile, Nevada, if Georgia doesn't decide it tonight, Nevada will decide it tomorrow morning, by noon.
I think tomorrow evening, we should know the result.
Yeah.
So tomorrow
Do you
evening,
think we might even?
we're gonna.
Do you think we might even know it by noon tomorrow?
I think
Maybe.
by noon tomorrow for sure. So
Yeah.
okay, bets.
Probably.
What state will decide? What state's projection will decide who wins?
Georgia.
Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. or
I'm gonna go with
Pennsylvania.
Nevada.
Or
Nevada
Alaska.
probably.
Mm,
Not Alaska.
yeah, they're super far away.
Whereas I can't if you can't even zoom into Alaska. They don't have an image.
Okay,
think
so
I'm
what
gonna
were
say-
the votes?
Nevada is probably my vote.
Okay, so Bruno's Nevada,
My vote's also for Nevada.
Carolyn Nevada, Allison. I think I heard Georgia.
Ellison has
Georgia.
trouble, picking things.
So we're 50-50 right now.
I think
I
Georgia
agree.
way back.
I'm gonna go for
The only
Georgia.
person watching this.
I think Georgia's gonna decide this. I
So
want-
what's Ellison's pick? Georgia.
Yeah.
Because they're so unorganized. Just kidding. Georgia, that's not true. Georgia-
Well,
You gonna write these
'cause I-
down?
we know. I mean, there's 4 people, so
It's 50-50. Easy.
Guys, look at this. My boss bought me this. It has my initials. You can't see it backwards, but
it's very nice.
Yeah, man.
isn't that cute?
Very nice.
That is.
Kind of cute. She's like, "You're gonna be single forever." I'm like,
Very nice.
It's very cute.
This is actually a lot of fun. I like doing this. This is fun.
Yeah, commentating stuff is always exciting, and then you kind of get distracted for a little bit, and then you kind of come back to topic, and then you get distracted a little bit more.
Yeah, but it's fun just to hang out and have a conversation and have a drink.
I feel like
do
we've been
podcasts.
missing this for a while with COVID. So,
Yeah, I mean,
Always
it's,
good.
it's
well, this is
a lot of fun.
somehow even the discussion yesterday felt like even though we had so many people, like the discussion worked pretty well. I was actually pretty impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works a lot better today, though. I mean, with 4
I
people,
would agree. Yes.
it's better.
But with
Yes,
so many people, back in the beginning of COVID, no one really knew how to talk and communicate properly. Everyone was just
True.
over one another.
Unless they were gamer.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
I know how to
that's
talk.
a pretty
I mean, gamers are pretty used to it.
fun, Allison. In the beginning of the pandemic, it wouldn't have worked, but now we all kind of understand.
Okay, you guys, I use Discord all the time now.
Yeah, Discord's super fun. I haven't used it in a while, but is there a cool Discord channel?
I have friends that use it and we play games and people just go on there to just chat.
You guys been playing Among Us?
Yes, I have friends who are 20
I
I
don't
actually
play
do
games
it.
with other people.
at this point.
I play games with myself. I mean, by myself. But I mean not on principle, just in reality, de facto. But on Friday, I was invited by TK to play this Among Us thing, which I don't
Yeah.
know what that
You invited
super
me.
but I
fun.
said yes.
It's
Whatever.
super fun.
Yeah.
Okay, false. I think it's okay. But have you guys ever played a game called Town of Salem?
No, I don't know
It's
any.
a better version of Among Us that I was playing years before, but it's a little bit complicated. It's more cerebral, but it's basically Among Us, but
Among Us is pretty cerebral.
what?
I would say Among Us is pretty cerebral.
It's fine. It's red sus.
That's not
What is-
true. If you can, there's strategies
what's
you can
Among Us?
figure
I know,
out.
but you'll get kids who just will come in there and just fuck everything up because 12-year-olds like to play it.
Yeah, that's true. That's why you don't play with randos.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I.
What is it? What
I
is
guess
Among Us?
play with a
What
crew
is
that's
it?
they're dumb.
Are zombies
Among Us-
involved in Among Us?
If I had to guess, is it similar to Mafia?
It
Yeah.
has similarities to game. So yeah, exactly. So basically, what happens is everybody is put into this massive space station thing with a bunch of different rooms, right? And everybody gets tasks, except there's 2 imposters who are aliens or something weird that eat the other humans and kill them. And they go around, and you're supposed to do these tasks and complete them. And if the regular people complete all the tasks, they win. or if they identify and eject and kill off the imposters, they win.
So it's like that game that we play. We haven't played for a long time, but La Resistance. It's like the same thing.
It's like Resistance. Yeah, it's like that. But there's like there's more to it from a task perspective. Like there's some strategies and
It's free, right?
things you can do, and it's free. Yeah, it's free.
So I'm stupid and I paid for that because I like
You can pay for it on Steam.
on Steam, yeah.
Yeah,
But
or if you get it on your phone, it's free.
yeah, but I want to.
I would agree. Computer is better.
Um,
So
And
it's
what's
not
like
free.
$5 anyway? It's $5.
you know
If I
what?
remember correctly.
Okay, Town of Salem is also $5. I've been like asking people, begging people to play with
To
it because
play.
I honestly think it's so fun. And Carolyn, I think you'd be really into it. Among Us is fun, but like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. It's just like physically like annoying to have to do like basic tasks where it's like put this file in this thing, and I'm like, I hope I don't die.
You don't necessarily need to do the task. There's other strategies.
I know, but like I feel like that's like one way to like win.
It is one way to win, but you have to play smart. Figure out what the common task is. Watch what other common tasks people are doing. You can also watch how people are partnering together. You can
Okay,
look for med scans.
I like the mafia strategy. So in Town of Salem, it is straight mafia. Like everybody's assigned like a different role. Someone's like a lookout, a medic, like someone's a
I think
killer.
I've played Town of Salem. Now that you're describing it.
It's
But
really
continue.
fun. I like it a lot. Like someone's a serial killer, which means they just can do random kills. And then there's like another more like there's a mafia group. So there's like 3 people who have like a private discussion. And like I personally think there's way more strategy. And maybe it's just because I suck at like getting around, but I've been in the awkward situation of like being an imposter and like chasing people around really awkwardly and then being like, damn it, they're gonna like have a meeting and they're gonna be like, this girl is like chasing me around.
That's why you don't chase people around.
I know, but like I'm awkward.
Yeah.
Like it's just it requires more like personality. Where like Town of Salem is like actually more cerebral.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's more intellectual.
Yeah, because you like write a will before you die. So like as you're like I am this person, please believe me, and then you write a will, and then if you die, then people can be like, do I believe this person or do I think it's a fake will?
Right. Yeah, fair enough. That actually sounds interesting. Probably more of a cerebral experience, as you termed it, than Among Us. But
So Among
Us is easier for people to learn and play.
Among Us is really easy to learn, and it satisfies like people who like to like play like killer games because you get to see like a half-eaten red person on the ground.
Wait, so Town of Salem is more cerebral because you have to, what is it, determine if a will is real or not?
Yeah, like before you, so every night you have the chance to write or rewrite your will. And so in case you die, because the mafia could kill you randomly or a serial killer could kill you randomly, like you want to be able to like show that you were like actually who you were, because like there's only a set amount of like individuals like lookouts or like sheriffs. Like there's only a set amount of good people in the town and there's like a set amount of bad people in the town. And then even and there's like a mediator or something like that, like someone who can like go between the dead world and the live world. So even if you're killed, because that's the annoying part when you're an imposter, like when you're an imposter or when you're killed by an imposter and you're just dead, you're just kind of dead. Like you don't get to like you don't get to like interact with the living world anymore. But in Town of Salem, if you die, like you actually get to interact with like the people still, because you have like someone who comes back to life and they're like, hey, yo, I talked to the dead and this is what they said. So you get to advocate still. So you're like still in the game. Dude, Town of Salem is so much better. Come on.
I'm down to try it.
Please.
Sounds interesting.
So good. It does take a little bit of time to learn. Like I definitely had to like call someone and be like, this is how you play. And then they're like, this is hard. And then I'm like, get on Discord because I can't continue to like phone you in.
Yeah, no. Like games like that are super fun.
Okay,
They're
so
the best games. Yeah, I'm down. I'm also down to play Resistance. Actually, you can play Resistance over. Could you play it over?
wait, I've never played Resistance.
It's super. That's epic, and it's really easy to set up at any party or anywhere, because
Really?
literally, it's super simple. It's there's you have a set of people, right? And then depending on how many people there are, there'll be a different number of imposters or like spies, basically, on the resistance, right? Not imposters, but then basically you send people on a mission. There's usually 5 missions. Depending on the number of people, there's a different number of people going on each mission. So it might be 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, or something like that, right? And basically, if when people are set on a mission, they can vote that the mission fails or succeeds. If there's one vote fail, then the whole mission fails, and so it's best of 5. So it's kind of like Secret Hitler in that sense.
I was just thinking that
Yeah,
actually.
it has similarities to Secret Hitler, but it's
I
way
was
easier to
just
set
thinking
up.
about like that. That's a fun game too, though. Do you need
Yeah.
like, well, you need to like pay for that whole thing though, right?
I have Secret Hitler, but yeah, it's fun. But Resistance, the nice thing is all you need is a deck of cards or anything. You just basically need
But you can do that
things.
online.
Yeah, you probably could.
I've been playing a lot of Uno online. Gotten really
Weirdo.
boring. I've also paid $5 for that.
Sounds really boring.
What?
It sounds really boring.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like the people that I'm regularly hanging out with, they're all very sweet people, but like I win every single round because no one's paying attention.
Are they all too drunk?
Or they're just like not, no one's 25, so I feel like their brain is not developed.
They're not 25?
No, like maybe
Are they all 25?
they're all like young people.
Uh,
Like I don't really know them, but like I've like gotten to know them through Discord. I need more friends on Discord. Is what I'm saying.
Bruno's like, what's up?
Discord. Okay.
Bruno, do you have Discord? Do you like play on Discord?
No, I don't. I don't do that.
Bruno seriously struggled with Discord.
You know
Like
what?
you play.
Kinda, but then I like got brought in to the community, and then I like honestly hung out on Discord like every night for like a month, and then I was
Yeah.
like,
That's how it goes.
You play games on Discord and you talk on Discord while you play games. Is that how
Yeah,
it works?
absolutely. And then you can jump on Discord whenever you have free time, and then when people pop in, they pop into your channel and say, "Hey, what's up?" And you're like, "Hey." It's like hanging out in real world.
dude,
Except
one
that
of my
you-
friends I met, her name is May, and she played with us for a while, but then she also hung out like at other times and played a lot of games, to the point where her like boyfriend was like, May, you only exist on the computer. You can't do this anymore. And she was like, but I love it. And he was like, no. And now she doesn't play with us anymore.
Oh yikes! She let it take over her life.
Yeah. But like
I used-
also
Yeah,
good for her.
yeah, that's good. That used to be me in high school and middle school.
I've never had that experience, but now that I have no one else to live, like I've literally only spent my life online. Okay. Can you hear? Wait, I have a question. Can you hear the sirens going by?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Oh my god! Every time I'm on a business call, they're probably like, "Where the fuck does Allison live?"
Oh,
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's curious.
Actually, I just got the microphone. Do I sound okay in the micro? Can you guys hear me okay?
It sounded
Yes.
better when you brought it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you need to position it better.
Oh, like this?
There, that's
Can you,
good.
can you put it like? What's a more natural place to put it? Do you have a,
Hanging from the ceiling.
Maybe like this.
That's good.
Does it sound better?
it sounds better actually there than it was like down below you.
I think more central was sounded a little better.
Yeah, maybe some more central. It looks better probably too. Does it sound really like I live by like a really bad place?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it sounds
guess,
like you live
yeah.
in
It sounds like I wouldn't want to buy your condo or lease
like
it.
in the projects. Uh,
Now you're
Yeah.
starting to look like a pro streamer.
exactly. Look at this. I have my
No,
microphone.
that's like more okay.
Turn it more towards your face.
Oh shit! But now I'm typing stuff with the microphone.
Wait,
The microphone is typing.
That's a problem.
Lost
This is
that,
a
like,
little bit
What about now?
looks better. So do we need to get you a gamer chair?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
But
important.
does it sound okay?
Definitely. Everybody else is silent though, so my definitely clearly is probably a no.
I guess they're looking at something else on the computer.
I'm just staring at like how cool we look right now.
Oh, are you?
What?
Huh. Yeah, I don't think so.
What am I supposed to be looking at exactly? How you look with the microphone?
How it sounds.
No. I asked a simple question. Does it sound okay?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Carolyn, wait, hold on. Carolyn, I think you would love Discord.
Yeah, I was on it a little bit.
Were you thinking about Discord? Are you just like in your head thinking about how cool Discord
Carolyn and
is?
I are actually very similar in how we think about the world, I think.
Well, like I was more distracted by something internal than external.
No, I just think you would really enjoy Discord because Discord you can just chat and just like hang out silently and like hang out, and if you want to talk you can, but you don't have to like participate, and I think you would really like it. And you like to play games. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean the group has done some stuff on Discord as well as Zoom.
Yeah, but that was kind of a fail.
Yeah, it didn't work out well. People kind of just didn't know how to use Discord.
I think Shobik used it in the way that it should have been used. Where like I noticed Shobik would like hang out like in voice channels and no one ever showed up.
Yep. That's what you're supposed to do.
I know, but like
people didn't get that. Like you just jump on whenever you want. That's the point.
I didn't know anything about Discord, and then luckily I set it up, and then I like got really involved. Okay, so I'm like a nerd, and I every morning I watch.
Wait, what?
Morning.
You are?
What do you watch every morning?
I don't know what that is.
What do you watch?
Good Mythical Morning. Rhett and Link.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, it's a popular channel. If you ever look up like chicken tender taste test.
Oh, I think they taste weird things. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like these like Oh my gosh, you would like it, Bruno. You would like it.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Well, we need to become very big on YouTube. You know, we need to become like very well known on YouTube. So I need to understand how that works.
I thought you were gonna go to the Twitch route, Bruno. What happened?
Twitch? No.
Yeah.
I think that was Fabio's idea. I don't really like. I mean,
Twitch is where people make money.
How does Twitch work? Isn't Twitch for gamers?
We're like, hey guys, like comment. Hey random people. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Oh wow. Ooh.
That's like my fans, right? Isn't it my fans?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. Shobik was talking about OnlyFans the other day, so I googled it, and it's some sex thing.
No, Twitch is basically just like. Do you guys remember You Now? Do you remember that?
There's a way actually. Twitch, you guys are making a good point. Because there's a way that I can stream this to YouTube and Twitch, so we can have a YouTube channel.
It's easier to get people on Twitch than YouTube.
Well, we can have live streaming. We don't need to choose one or the other. It can go to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's a.
But I will just tell you, it's easier to find random people to join your stream on Twitch.
Okay.
Like, remember we were doing the philosophy chat and like one or two people jumped on? We're just chatting with us. That
doesn't really happen on YouTube.
It doesn't, because people don't watch live streams on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Like, if you want to post edited videos, YouTube is your platform. If you want to do a free-form live stream, Twitch is your platform.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube I think is a better platform in general, to build.
Not for live streams.
Well, but the thing on YouTube is that you do live stream, but you can also post the video afterwards.
And then what's really popular is actually people on Twitch editing their Twitch streams down to shortened clips or shortened videos, and then posting that to YouTube.
Which we should do on YouTube as well.
Right. And that's where it works, is basically you stream on Twitch, you edit the video, you put it on YouTube.
because that's what Joe Rogan does as well.
Yep,
You know, what
exactly.
people watch are like segments of Joe Rogan's, because his stream. I mean, nowadays, yes, but before, I don't know if a lot of people sat through 2 hours of conversation. It's a long time.
I've seen so many YouTube podcast shit and not shit. I've seen a
But
lot.
none of them live, right?
Also, I think it's the time. Like back in the day, it was appropriate to probably just like stream whatever the hell you want, and like you can do it now too, but like no one's gonna watch it. But like, I mean, I'm a firm believer that like you're gonna start out really sloppy and messy, and then like
Yeah.
you
Yep.
want to get better, you're gonna take the time and the effort to edit it. And I also believe, because I used to edit sound in music videos like back when I was in high school, which like no one was doing at the time because it was like back early 2000s, and like YouTube was not a thing. And I like I would spend like if I could spend a full day editing a video in the music and like working on Final fucking Cut Pro, I would do it. Like I was like, yeah, this sound has to sound right, because if it doesn't sound right, it's gonna be shit, and people are not gonna believe what they're hearing, and they're not gonna like it. And I hate, like, I was like a super like misanthrope like audio person that was just like, oh, if I don't like the sound of what I'm hearing even for a second, I'm gonna lose my god fucking mind. I mean, honestly, I would spend a full day editing shit on Final Cut Pro to like do what with it? Burn it on a CD so I can give it to a friend? I would do that. But it would take me like, I would spend my entire weekend doing that.
Such a nerd.
Yeah, it takes time to edit stuff, but yeah, I definitely need to learn how to cut the stream into segments, and then that can go on YouTube. That's a good idea. And actually, I don't think it's super complicated to stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I don't think it's super complicated.
No, you can do it.
It's like
I
an
think-
old swoop.
But you should treat
I just have to figure
Twitch-
it out.
But honestly, you should treat Twitch as your main streaming platform.
You could do Twitch. There's like YouNow. There's a bunch of streaming sites that you could like stream simultaneously to, and then if you wanted to
That's
edit
right,
it,
man.
make it, put it on YouTube to make it like nice, pretty package, you could do that. And I don't think you should, like, if you want to like see how far you could go, take the time to edit. Like honestly, like I'm like spewing out shit. People are like talking over one another. Like there's downtime. People have like short attention spans. Like, you know
You're
what?
jumping
Like
from one conversation to another.
one conversation to another. Cut.
Cut.
You literally could be like slice. You can add some like fun character, like weird music, like some like weird image in the background. You can use so much stuff. Not that you would do that, I hope not. But like honestly, there's a lot you could do.
But I think this is it's working. It's working.
free
It's just
content.
slow.
You're welcome.
It's just slow. It's just slow, but it's working. Let's look at the subscribers for the Philosopher. Philosopher has. I don't know why I'm looking, because I'm sure nobody.
Ooh, who will subscribe?
Well,
Yeah,
we
nobody.
have a fantastic number, four subscribers. But
Nice.
there's 4 here. Carolyn, did you subscribe?
No, I don't really use YouTube that often.
Frenzel, because he
Just
talks
click on the freaking button, Carolyn. Just subscribe. You don't need to
Alright.
use.
All right.
So
I
if
have to
Carolyn
do it right now.
subscribes, we'll have 5, which is basically this chat.
Okay, Bruno, can you tell us who the subscribers are?
Can't see them. I
I
think
mean,
you can only get.
Jovic and you, I think. I don't know.
So
Is it
who's
your
the fourth?
channel? Jovic, is it your channel? Who do I go to if I want to be like, delete this?
Bruno.
What? What's that? What?
Wait, channel? Whose channel is this?
The Philosopher? It's I just created it. It's my new channel.
So you should be able to like go into your analytics and like see like what your demographic is, and like you should probably be able to see who your subscribers are. What's your demographic? What's the age? What's the gender?
Well, listen, I don't know. We don't have any viewers. I mean, it's just
You do.
us so far.
You have subscribers.
Well, yeah,
Look at
but
analytics. This is tiny
it's
data.
it's not a real thing until I get like 20 subscribers, and then some people will be watching it, I guess. But at this point, it's in the early stages. I also have a movie podcast, and I have a channel about soccer. So I started 3 different channels.
Did get recommended in my feed to listen to your football channel.
Wow.
That's cool, huh? You have probably zero interest, but it's fine. Subscribe. No, actually, you can watch the movie channel. Do you like movies, Allison?
I watch movies from time to time.
Okay, so you can be like in one of the movie podcasts. It's
My-
just basically I'm trying to create. Basically, it's going to be like the Philosophy Club, but for movies.
Okay, so
But
I have a cousin. He is
it's
20,
just watching movies and talking about movies afterwards,
he's
basically.
24 and he does like movie reviews and he has a YouTube channel. And he does like
That's cool.
he has like a DVD basement and he has like a channel on YouTube and he does like movie reviews. And he's supposed to be cool. He's a sweet guy and he talks up I've subscribed.
That's good. I can subscribe if you give me the
Because
link.
I mean
I'll
maybe you
subscribe.
guys can be colleagues.
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
name
no,
is
I'm looking.
Wilson.
I want people to, watch the movies with
He's
me,
blonde
talk
and
about them.
funny like me.
Huh?
His name is Luke Mickelson. He's blonde and kind of scrawny like me.
All right. But yeah. So
I think his
yeah,
girlfriend started a channel and she's really cute and she's like taking up more space on the internet than he is.
oh boy, some drama. But
Wow,
I think
that's what happens with attractive girls.
Yeah, you're just like,
yeah, it's kind of an unfair advantage. But
but like
it
these
is what
kind
it
of content, movies versus like, if you wanted to start your own makeup channel, Bruno, like you could be the next James Charles, and I would support that.
my what channel?
James Charles,
Makeup channel.
you're gonna be the next
Makeup
male
channel?
makeup channel. The truth is, the internet just loves attractive people, and attractive people just wear heavy fucking makeup.
Yeah,
I guess that's true.
Or they're
it's
just born really naturally
Does
hot.
PewDiePie have a lot of makeup on?
Yeah.
Does Mr. Beast have a lot of makeup on?
Yeah. He's not attractive.
You said they wear makeup
know.
and they're super
I
attractive.
don't know who Mr. Beast
I don't
is,
know.
but PewDiePie.
So, it's a bunch of gimmicks. PewDiePie is just he's in a rare anomaly, I think. He's just a really good guy. I don't know if he's a really good guy. I take that back. But I think he's not a bad guy. And I subscribe to him. So
I subscribe to him as well because I think there's something psychological about, he has like 10 million subscribers. You must subscribe.
yeah, I think
Because
that's
you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out on whatever it is.
He also seems like relatable, and I subscribed to his girlfriend for a while, but she shut down her channel. But like I felt like his girlfriend was really relatable.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to any of these people.
So I subscribed to him because I felt like his girlfriend was relatable.
I'm like subscribed to very few YouTube channels. I can only think of one right now that I'm definitely subscribed to. And it's like stupid. It's very technical.
So I watch YouTube. I have YouTube Red. I don't waste time for those commercials. I don't have like.
Why don't you just install AdBlock?
What?
Why don't you just install AdBlock?
Because then I have to click around.
No, you don't. What?
Oh, because I use it on my phone.
Oh, there you go.
So I pay YouTube because I don't pay for Netflix or Hulu or anything else. The only thing that I subscribe to because I watch Rhett and Link or Good Mythical Morning every morning, and I've now subscribed to their like whole like they have like a Good Mythical Society and like I'm a part of their Discord, and so like I
Oh, that's the other
Why
thing I
don't you
subscribe to.
send me those things, so maybe they'll be interesting to watch.
Yes Theory. Yes Theory is a fun YouTube channel.
I love.
I think I'm subscribed to that, yeah,
like,
because of
we
you,
watch
Shovik.
anime.
I think you would enjoy Yes Theory, guys. Both of you.
Well,
What's it called?
Carolyn's on.
I'm subscribed to
Yes
that because of
Theory.
you.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yes Theory.
Yes
That's
Theory.
a YouTube channel.
Yep.
What's it about?
It's about these three. Actually, there were initially 4 friends in Canada who basically went on a 30-day. They would
Oh
just
my
challenge themselves to do like really crazy stuff, but like cool stuff. And like one of them, they ended up like meeting Justin Trudeau as an example, and like slowly they became more and more popular, and they'd do like more and more like quote unquote crazy things, but they're not like they'll ask strangers to go skydiving, right? In like California or like things like that or they will like be like, oh, let's go to a random country, random city, and one person will have to literally live for a day on the kindness of strangers. So they don't have a wallet. All they have is like the clothes on their back. So
Honestly, I mean, okay, so are you a big fan of like Mr. Beast then?
me? No.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You know, I just feel like it's a like pretty gimmicky. Like I will watch it
Oh,
from
it's very
time, but I'm
gimmicky.
not like addicted. Like so I just sent out Good Mythical Morning. I'm not gonna lie, I used to watch PewDiePie for like a good chunk of time because I thought he was like a relatable human being. And I did like his girlfriend, to be honest. It's like I feel like I like them as human beings.
Seems like you had a bigger crush on his girlfriend.
I didn't have a crush on either of them. I just thought they were like, I was just curious to see because I also knew they had so many subscribers. So I was like, and mainly not her in particular. I was just like, oh, she seems like normal. But like he had so many subscribers. I was like, I just feel like I have to know in my brain. Like, and at one point I was like, so many people hated him. They thought he was super controversial. And I was like, I have to just like get this guy in my head for myself to decide like, is this person a bad human being or not? I don't know. Anyway, it was like an interesting thing. Whatever. I don't really watch him anymore. I mean, I'm aware of what he's doing, but like I don't like dedicate my time to that. But I have for the past 4 years dedicated my time to Good Mythical Morning because in the morning, I usually get up and I like make my coffee and I like wake up and I like brush my hair and like just do things to get ready for the day. And like for 15 minutes a day. And they also have like Good Mythical Morning. So if you wanted to extend it to 30 minutes a day, who cares? But like it's been like my ritual in the morning, but like it's just like 2 best friends. They've been like lifelong friends. They met in like North Carolina and they now live in LA, but they do this show called Good Mythical Morning. And like one of the things that they do that they've gotten really popular for is like taste tests. So they do like, and like Shobik, you've probably seen it. Like they were like,
They
oh,
taste some like really extreme stuff.
yeah. So like they do like basic things like, okay, what's the best like United States chicken sandwich or like the best burger at a fast food restaurant? And they choose like, let's compare Burger King, a McDonald's, Wendy's, like, whatever. They just like take them and then they like put on blindfolds and they like try it and they like describe them and then they rate them. And then they're like, what do we both think about it? And they're kind of funny. They've been friends since like elementary school. They've also done like tons of other taste tests of like, let's try like different like milk from different animals, or like let's try like doing tacos a different way. So they've eaten like scorpions and like really spicy peppers. Like let's try like different peppers across like the world, or like let's try like for example like Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's in a lot of different countries, but Pizza Hut offers different things in different countries. So they're like, let's try to guess what Pizza Hut menu item is, like what country this came from. And they'll like do dart boards where they'll like try to guess like, oh, you know what? This has a ton of mayonnaise on this pizza. Who would do mayonnaise on a pizza? Probably Japan. And then they guess, and then it's like a game show. And then someone's like, you're wrong. It was Ecuador. I don't know. But it's like they're just 2 guys who do the show. It's like pretty basic, but like they just do it. It's 15 minutes every day. It's like some sort of game that they play. And I watch it every day, and I have been watching it every day for like 4 years, just because it's like something that is just like normal and usual for me. And like, to be honest, like they do this thing on Saturdays where they do this, it's called ear biscuits, and they get together and it's just Rhett and Link, like they're friends, and they just like talk for an hour, like a podcast. about like just anything they're interested in. They're like, oh, I'm going to therapy. Like, oh, what's your experience with therapy? Or like, oh, I did like my first like solo trip, like where I went without my family. Cause they're both like in their 40s. So they're both like, oh, I have kids and like I have like a wife and like I'm like 42 right now and I like decided it's COVID and I need some space. So like it's the first time I'm taking a solo trip. And like his friends like, oh yeah, what did you do? Like, okay. And then they just like tell their stories. And like because I feel like I've known them because I've been watching them for like, 3-4 years, every morning I like listen to their stories.
Kind of reminds me of John and Hank Green,
What do you mean?
the Green brothers.
Yeah.
They kind of do a similar thing where they just go back and forth with the vlogs on their channel. I think they call it the Vlog Brothers. And,
Yeah.
but it's actually really interesting, and they have like really interesting. They actually talk about very interesting things in the sense of like one might be like a little bit like they'll have like facts about like how set like how we talked about the filibuster. They might like talk about like how a filibuster works, but then another episode might just be something completely chill and random, and another video it's really interesting videos, and it's like
You like
everything
them,
is.
though, as people.
Huh?
Do you feel like you like them as people?
Oh yeah, for sure. They're awesome people. Like
Yeah.
they're clearly awesome people. Like
Like,
they're
that's
very
the thing,
intelligent, and they want to have an impact, but they're like really nice.
I think that's the thing with like videos. Like when you talk, like you see people talk online to one another and they joke and they have a good time, and you're like, I like them, right? I feel like I know them, like, or like they're cool people. Like I would chill with them, or like I would
Yep.
get entertainment of
And
them.
that's similar with the Yes Theory crew. Like that Yes Theory crew, like is super sweet. Like, and they're it's interesting because they're trying to create a bigger community.
Okay, do you
Of,
know
like,
like are
people-
you aware of Jake Paul and like Logan Paul?
A little bit, but not very.
Okay, so I fell down an interesting rabbit hole where I got to know like Rice Gum and like Logan Paul and Jake Paul just by their videos, right? And I like put myself in a mindset where I was like, I want to get to know these human beings. And like, there's something very inauthentic about them.
They're really fake.
It feels
I
like
don't really
it
want to
makes
know
it like
them.
they're just really young or they're just obsessed. Like their main goal, you can just feel it. Their main goal is to get viewers. Where like
They want attention. That's it.
yeah, Rhett and Link are just like, they're like older guys. They're just like, we're doing our thing. Like, we're having fun. We're just like talking. We're not overthinking whether or not someone's going to hate us or not. And sometimes they do. They're like, oh, are we going to get in trouble for this? But like, they're not like, it's not their primary motivation. We're like, Jake Paul and Logan Paul are like, oh yeah, here are my like merch.
Yeah, I mean those guys. Yeah, I mean they look
Yeah,
very
it's super unauthentic.
I mean,
But,
they're not
yeah.
likable at all. I don't know.
I would say a
how-
lot of, yeah. I would say like in terms of the most authentic, like to me, Vlog Brothers are super authentic. Yes Theory is super authentic. Good Mythical Morning is probably relatively authentic. There's some car channels that have really authentic people too, like there's a bunch of like YouTube car channels where they like would fix cars and stuff.
I like those things.
So like Tavarish, and there's like three guys that are always there's this guy that ran VinWiki, which is like all about like they did cannonball runs. I don't know if you guys know what cannonball runs are.
Like Naruto runs. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's where you try to get from one side of the country to the other side of the country as fast as possible in a car.
What?
Yeah, like literally as fast as possible. So they'll spec out a more normal looking car, like a Mercedes is one that they set a record in, and they'll go from literally one side of the country to the other as fast as possible on whatever road systems they go on.
Okay, that's an interest area for you.
That's very specific, but anyway, that's one of the guys, and so there's three of them.
But you
kinda
like
just
their personality.
have to do a combo YouTube channel, where they kind of just chill and hang out.
Mhm.
And the other one, I don't know. Yeah, but no, I would say they're iffy, but I would say Yes Theory and Vlog Brothers to me are like the big ones. Like Yes Theory is super authentic. It's super chill. Like
Okay,
I was
I'm
super
definitely
surprised
gonna
by
check it
that.
out. Wait, okay, I just looked this up. Green Brothers. You said Green
Vlog
Blog
Brothers. They're Vlog Brothers videos. And then
Vlog Brothers.
yeah.
Okay, I like this stuff because I do like authentic people. I watch a lot of like cooking channels a lot.
I do too.
Like I like
And then I cook the stuff.
Wait, what?
And then I cook the stuff.
Wow. I like
That's the way to
honestly.
go.
Yeah, there's like certain people that like I'm not vegan, but like sometimes I'm like I try to be vegan and like other certain like channels where I'm like, oh my God, this girl's so cute. Like she's just so sweet and like so authentic. Like look at her trying to cook something. Cute. I do really like vegan videos where they like try to transform something that's not vegan into vegan.
Allison, you're in a super good mood today. What? You're not usually in this good of a mood.
Really?
Yeah, I mean you're just having like a good day. What?
I feel
You're
like I'm
super
not
happy
having
today.
a good day, but like
Like
maybe.
you're very happy.
Do I seem really sad all the time?
No, but not this happy. Today you're like the sun, shining. You look like very
Aw.
happy. It's like you want everybody to be happy.
Well, like she's really talkative and animated.
Yeah, you can just feel it.
Or
Her energy.
Yeah, I'm subscribing to this crew.
But yeah, hopefully people will talk about us like that someday. Those
But you
people,
have to
they're
be
so-
really regular is the key. All of the stuff, the key to it is regularity.
Like
And
PewDiePie, I swear the only reason PewDiePie became famous is because he regularly put out content every single day.
He's like one of the first video game YouTubers that
Yeah,
did that,
and the timing was right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we're gonna do it regularly.
Like every day. Like edited content, like every day. Cause I'm down with that. Like challenge me.
Yeah, let's do it every day. Let's do it every bit. I mean, even if we don't do it every day, I mean, yeah, for
no,
sure.
no. You have to be consistent. That's the key.
Well, I
But
can't.
you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it every day. You just need to be very consistent. So it's like some
Right.
YouTube channels do it every Sunday. That's their video. Like they will release a video every Sunday. Or like certain streamers will stream on Mondays and Thursdays, and that will be it. But every Monday and Thursday, they will be streaming. Because that's the key to actually having viewers. Because viewers need to develop a habit to
It takes
watch you.
17 days to create a habit. It takes longer to break a habit, but to create a habit, it takes a very short period of time. And I do recommend that you do more than just like one day a week because that's what everyone's model is right now. And so like doing it like 5 days a week or like 3 days a week, like you're gonna hit that 17-day period much easier, especially if like someone can be like, oh, I can listen Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so they can hit that period much like in a shorter period than someone who's like, oh, it's only released on Sundays. I guess I'll like have to listen 7 Sundays in a row. And that's like that habit just like isn't there.
So maybe like maybe 2 days a week, but do it regularly.
It has to be regular. Whatever the schedule is, it has to be regular. It's like a requirement for success.
Even if it's like we record it on like, like this particular communication, like we record it privately, we edit it, and then we're like, we're gonna divvy this up into 2 videos and release them at 2 different.
Yeah, I only know of 2 YouTube channels that don't do regular content, but their content is so funny and entertaining that.
Like Squirrel the Ninja Squirrel video?
No, I'm talking about Frankie. There was this guy named Frankie on 1080 and PC that would release like videos about a video game called DayZ, and they would be like they'd be like very cinematic, and the cinematography was phenomenal, and the story arc was phenomenal, and so like they were really good videos because they had such a good story to them. And then there was another series. There's a guy named Soviet Womble who like does just like they just a bunch of guys just being really funny and silly, but it's hilarious. And so he releases videos like every like who knows how long goes before he releases a video, but whenever he drops a video, it will get like a couple million views.
Okay, this video right here. This guy, people are like, oh, I know that guy. He gave like this surprise delivery box. Like, I don't even know, like months ago. Months ago. But because this was so brilliant and he put so much love and effort into this like YouTube video.
Specifically this video?
Have you not seen this?
No.
Okay, I'll show it. Watch this tomorrow or something. You can't watch it right now. I mean, you can try, but like it's like they put so
21
much
minutes.
fucking love and energy
Yeah.
and people are like, oh, I know these creators. They were the ones who like routinely filmed the people who like had these surprise.
I recognize the guy.
What?
I don't know why I recognize the guy, but I recognize the guy.
Listen. Okay, you probably recognize him because he was the guy who was planting these boxes. Do you remember when people's like got like Amazon like boxes stolen from their front door?
Yeah.
Okay, he was the guy who like put like this like sparkle bomb in these boxes and like.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
That's this guy. So he like didn't do anything forever and then like created this like squirrel warrior ninja video and it's so good and it's gotten so many views, but like he spends a ton of crazy time on these videos. And so unless you're willing to put that much effort in your like videos and they're that viral, like you have to just be like creating like content every day. Like literally PewDiePie will show up in his pajamas and be like, fuck my life, everyone. This is who I am. And he just does it every day. And that's like, and like there was a time period because I watched him a lot where I think he took a month off. And like before he took a month off and after he took a month off, he was like, dude, I'm so worried about this. Like, I can't not take a month off. Like, I just like, I'm actually OCD about this and I can't not take a month off. And like his girlfriend was like, you need to take a month off for your health. Come on. And he was just like, oh my God, I can't. And she was like, please. And anyway, he like took a month off and he was fine. But he was just like so paranoid before that this was like, he was convinced that this was going to be the end of his career because he was taking time off. Lo and behold, he did. It wasn't the end of his career, but he was also PewDiePie. So like, would it have been the end of anyone else's career? Maybe.
Yeah. Consistency is critical though, like especially when you're starting, right? So I think it's just like a necessity.
Well, do you think that people will, do streams like the people in the, the philosophy community and everything? Do you think they would, do it like a couple times a week?
You just gotta try, right?
Just gotta try. Just gotta try.
Right? Like it's gonna be like
just gotta try. Yeah, who knows? There are no guarantees in life. No guarantees.
No guarantees, no warranties.
No warranties, no guarantees, nothing. You just try. You just gotta try.
Indemnities. I just like talked to a guy who told me he has government contracts to do SaaS offerings and they provide no indemnities. Can you believe that?
I don't know what that
None.
means. What does
Zero.
indemnities mean again?
Zero. But
Like,
you know,
just like no.
You know what I'm thinking as well?
Sorry, government.
With
idiots.
With 4 people, it works a lot better than with a bunch of people.
You need a very
4 people.
Yeah.
4 people is probably the best number. If we could get like 4 people, 4 people is great because you can have a great conversation with 4 people. Because there's always like someone who wants to say something that is interesting. Or most of the time.
But you're not constantly talking over each other.
Yeah. I mean, but sometimes when it's just 2 people, it feels a little bit, lonely. But it also depends on which 2 people we're talking about.
Yeah. So I just got an election update from Georgia.
Oh boy, I was beginning to think it was done for the night. Okay, let me look.
Well, I assume they're blue because
What's the update?
The update is that they're going.
Tell our imaginary viewers.
There's more votes that came in. It leaned Biden more to. Well, it gave Biden more votes to catch up to Trump, but not enough to catch up to Trump yet. And it seems like the rest of the votes that are going to keep coming out they're going to keep counting all night and releasing results as they go. So the unfortunate reality is that the update is that It's going in the correct direction, but it's going to be all night long that they keep the votes results coming. So
Gosh,
we're not going to find out anytime soon, other
the
than
way you
tomorrow
said it
morning.
made it sound like Georgia turned blue.
No,
Yeah.
When you
unfortunately,
said it, it
not.
made it sound like I was gonna lose this bet that we made. Thank you.
It's like Trump won Georgia. GG.
GG. Well, I mean, Nevada is really the one that I think it's the crucial one
So
because
who's
Nevada gives him the presidency and he has a lead. So I mean, he just needs to hold on to that lead. In principle, the votes that are going to come in are more Joe Biden than Trump. So I mean, as long as things stay the same in Nevada, he wins.
Yeah, Georgia's just going to be insanely tight. So, because
Yeah.
like at this point, the difference in Georgia is down to 28,000. There's 19,000, 90,000 roughly votes to be counted still. So literally, it's a 30% margin.
I don't think Georgia is going to go to Biden. I think it's going to go to.
No, because it's 30,000 of 90,000 votes. If 70% goes to if 70% goes to Biden, 30% goes to Trump. Guess what? 40% is the delta that Trump gets. 40%, right? 0.4 times 90,000 makes up the delta of 30,000 by 6,000 votes.
Well, if he wins, it's going to be very close. Very close. But Nevada, I think he can just stay like that. I mean, he can hold the advantage. I think it's a safer bet. Hopefully, he gets both, but and Pennsylvania is definitely like a less resource because it's the last one to be essentially counted. So. But it's a last chance. Hopefully, it won't matter. Hopefully, Pennsylvania won't matter.
So are people just like up all night doing this? Counting ballots?
Probably volunteers too.
Have people been doing this like 24 hours straight since they started coming in?
I'm sure they have shifts.
I
Sure
mean, like, yeah, in shifts, but wow.
But yeah, we're gonna.
Is there some? How do we? So they make sure it's like an even number of representatives from both parties, or they're politically neutral or something? Or it's just not.
I mean,
I guess it doesn't matter in most cases because it's clear cut.
I actually worked in the primaries. I was hired as an interpreter in the primaries, and it was basically it was like that, Carolyn. You know, they had people from both parties, but I don't know if it's always like that. I don't know.
Should be, right?
I don't know if that's a rule or not.
I don't think it's a legal requirement, but
Yeah. But I mean, you're supposed to be impartial, that's for sure, obviously, if you're counting the votes.
So it's interesting. Trump needs to win all the remaining states to win.
Well, no. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, yeah. He needs to win the three states he's ahead in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania.
Other than maybe Arizona.
Well, Arizona has been called for Biden.
Not everybody's calling Arizona right now.
But not everybody.
Oh, they're doing a revote?
No. People there's a lot of people not projecting.
Yeah,
Arizona. Some people think there's not enough data to project it.
Arizona's still up there. So Trump needs to win the three that he's ahead in: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and then he needs to steal either Arizona, which seems very unlikely, or Nevada, which seems a lot more likely.
So Arizona might have been called prematurely. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of networks are not calling it. So yeah, I think the ones that did call it probably was a little bit premature.
At this point, wouldn't it be a little sad if there was a turn of events and Trump did end up winning?
Unless you're a Trump supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, it's like Christmas.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's so close. Like there's a chance it could happen.
It could happen. I mean, he could win Nevada. I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible.
And plus, like with him, it sounds like he's ready to put up a fight. So if it is really close and Nevada's the only other one he wins, there'll be a big dispute probably.
Nevada is less than 1% difference so far. So it's a pretty close race. But I think the reason why we're kind of, chilling about it is because, these the late votes tend to favor Biden so far. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Because if not, it would be very close. It's less than 1% difference.
What's good is that, basically if Nevada falls or if Nevada and Arizona fall, we're good. If Georgia falls, they're good. Like pretty much if any of these states, and then if Pennsylvania falls, it's done.
Yeah, but that's going to be the last one.
But I'm going to say Pennsylvania's votes are not going to get finished counting. But I bet you tomorrow morning we wake up to a blue Georgia, and game over.
Oh, yeah, so this could be determined while we're asleep tonight.
Probably.
Wait, actually, I think I got an email about this.
So, email?
From, like, the voting, like, people who do it, like, hold on.
All right, guys. Do you guys want to end this, and should we reconvene for tomorrow?
At this point,
like, read this email. You can leave. But
yeah, read the email.
Oh, because when you leave, you end the meeting, right? Can you assign it to one of us?
No, read the email. I'm not in a hurry, so we're good. I was just saying that. Yeah, I mean,
the email first.
Yeah, that's fine. We're not in a hurry, but I was just saying, it's a good time to end it, and tomorrow we'll do it again. Tomorrow we're actually going to have the results.
I don't know. I feel like I got an email saying that we would not have the results by tomorrow.
We'll have projected results.
Okay, fine.
We won't have like all the votes finished counting.
But to be honest, I liked yesterday, but I think today was more fun.
Because it was closer to the final result.
No, I just think
it's because half the crew wasn't feeling depressed by the end of the stream. Smaller group.
Yesterday was a little bit depressing.
Wait, what happened after I left?
No, just people were depressed.
Everybody very quickly started looking very sad and slowly leaving.
Was I sad looking?
Yes.
I think so. I think I was a little bit sad by the end of it, because I was like...
Everybody looked so depressed, and I was like, guys, even though I keep saying that Trump is basically winning right now, he's actually going to lose. So don't get...
You guys were freaking me out. Everybody was saying that Trump was going to win, and I was like, okay.
I didn't say that. I said Trump is winning.
Yeah.
Now.
It amounts to about the same thing.
Yeah, that was kind of funny because even though we knew a lot of the mail-in ballots were going to be Democrat, I think a lot of people were getting discouraged. But then a lot had changed by the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, Trump is winning right now. But
I was surprised in the morning.
But yeah.
But it's gonna be okay, I think.
All right, what's this email? You're chewing on food now.
Yeah, sorry.
Allison doesn't want to go to
job.
Which is fine.
I figured out they have Hawaiian food in Minnesota.
Yeah, they do. There's a place called the Cove.
That's what
it's delicious. Is that poke? The Pokeball?
I've had poke, which you're right is one, but like,
You want the recommendation for the best thing there?
What is it?
that blows people away? Spam musubi.
No, that's what I got. It's so good, dude. That's why I ordered it because I was like, I didn't think we had that in Minnesota.
It exists, and it's so good.
Yeah, so good. So I just ate one of those, and now I'm eating actually like a meatball right now.
Oh
but
yeah, gotcha. Ah,
yeah, mac and
the
cheese.
spam musubi. Oh man, and their pasta mac and cheese is delicious. I mean, that's the Hawaiian thing, though, right?
Yeah,
So,
I didn't realize that we had that here. So now I'm just like going at like to town on it. So. Mhm.
good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
And actually, yeah, they don't stay open that late. So
Mm.
We're,
it turns out
Okay.
turns out the best food scene in Minnesota actually exists in Dinkytown.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like there, I mean, I think it's just because like people want like that variety because like
And there's a lot of international students.
exactly, there's international students here who are here for like what, like maybe 4 years, if that. So they want like that experience. So that totally makes sense to me.
Wait until you try the Asian dessert place. There's a Japanese style, like they do milk crepes and like mango desserts and matcha
Really?
desserts and all that, and they look really nice and fancy. Yeah, there's some good spots over there.
I'm like
Is
kind of
that
like
a
foodie.
is that a new place, the Asian dessert?
I love food.
Yeah, it's called Mango Mango.
Okay.
It's really cute, and they put like everything in these little cute boxes, and it like all looks just so pristine and just like I'm just
They're
like
called
holy
Mango
crap. Yeah, it's called Mango Mango.
It's so Japanese. They're like
It's very Japanese, and it's attached, and it's like it's attached to Banchan, which is a Korean
oh
place.
really?
You can like walk from Banchan into Mango Mango directly inside, and Banchan is like really good Korean fried chicken and Korean food in general. So
I like got really addicted to like kind of that fried shit. But like at the same time, when you're like sad, you're like. Also, thanks to like Good Mythical Morning, I realized that one of my hobbies is like trying foods.
yeah, it's a fun
I love
hobby,
trying foods.
definitely.
Trying
Like,
foods is
being a
great.
foodie is amazing. You just go try places. You're like,
No,
oh, look, I found
I'm
a new
gonna start
restaurant.
watching
Let's go try that.
Mythical Morning. I want to be friends with these people. I want to try new foods.
Me too. I would work for them.
All right, so no email then, right?
No
She
email.
forgot, man. She forgot. Did you forget about the email? You're gonna read something. You forgot.
Sorry,
Whatever.
the only thing that was keeping people here, I couldn't find the email.
Actually, so really, what that ploy was a distraction to keep us.
She just wants
here
to hang out.
while
She's,
she
she's
eats.
having so
She
much
needs-
fun.
She needs
All our
attention while she
viewers
eats.
want us to be here right now.
Look, I'm
Oh.
having a lot of fun as
All
well.
zero of them, but I'm gonna need to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so that's gonna be
I know.
fun.
Okay, go to bed.
Yeah,
So
so then
we
drive
can-
to
We do it-
work, unlike you
we
guys
can-
who can just
Wait.
pop onto your.
We can
Everyone
laptop.
has like FOMO, right? Like fear of missing out. But like, I guarantee that if you go to bed right now, the only thing that will be happening is me eating food and like staring at the unchanging election results.
Yeah, I was gonna say the election results are definitely not changing.
What if
So-
it flips while we're all asleep tonight, though?
It will.
It'll be like Christmas. You'll be like, "Good morning." Like
Yeah.
everyone knows that election day is like second Christmas. You wake up and you're like, "Oh my God, what is it? Did I get cold? Was I bad? I mean, was America?"
Yeah.
You know, the only thing is that I bought a bunch of index fund stocks. I shouldn't have done that, so I'm a little bit worried about tomorrow. Because
No.
I'm worried. I'm worried about losing money. So
Yeah, you and every person who cares about America in that way.
All right. Bye, guys. Good night.
But,
Have fun.
Hey everyone. Thank you so
But I'm-
much. Thank
but
you
I'm
so
excited.
much for putting this together.
say that again.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for hanging out with me and doing the stream. And we're gonna become so famous. We're gonna be like PewDiePie and Joe Rogan put together.
Yeah, just make sure to pay us next time.
So much.
Well, when we get famous, I'll pay you, even though you don't need the money. You should be paying me. But
Fair enough. What, for fame? I don't know if I want to be famous.
but
From that bombshell.
well, we gotta get to some, at least 10 subscribers or
Also,
so. I mean,
Shobik, we need to have an offline conversation about this supply chain scenario.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
no, you have it online. You
I
have
want
it
to not
online.
be a lawyer anymore. How do I do
What?
that? Help me.
Oh, you don't want to be a lawyer anymore? Yeah.
I want to work
Well,
on
we
like
can talk about it.
efficient. I want to be like
I'm
I want
down.
to be a lawyer who
Let's
helps
chat about it.
people who don't need. Like I want to wean businesses off of lawyers. Teach me how to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can have some conversations tomorrow. There's lots of stuff I want to talk about that we didn't talk about today.
You can do it over e-foiling.
Next year. Next year.
We're all gonna play. We're all gonna play Count of Salem, right? All of us.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we can. I can play that with you. I mean,
And we could stream it on
Look,
Twitch, and we would be
look.
Twitch gaming streamers.
We'll call it.
for
We'll
a
call
little
it
bit.
the better version of Among Us because as long as we use Among Us in the title, people will watch.
Yeah,
that's right.
fair enough.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, let's do that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, man. There's lots of possibilities. Tomorrow the movie continues.
All right.
This movie. Oh God. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, this is our
Bye,
movie.
guys.
Our movie
Good
will
night.
continue tomorrow.
I'll catch you guys later.
Good night.
And tell people about
Never
share
enough.
share the stream with people.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.